proceedings against the WikiLeaks founder. Mr. Assange is currently being held in a British prison where he's appealing a US extradition order. Former US Vice President Mike Pence is expected to launch a tilt for the top job. He's planning on entering the race to become the Republican candidate in next year's presidential election. He'll be campaigning alongside Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for the nomination. Scientists in the UK are trying to develop flavourless peas as an environmentally friendly alternative to soya. Soya bean production often involves the destruction of rainforests. Lead researcher Professor Claire Domery says peas are rarely used as a meat substitute because of their strong flavour.
We're working on a number of different traits which are of interest to the industry, and in our interactions with the industry taking up this material, we're presenting them with variants of pea which will grow in the fields, which actually perform well, and so on.
Turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with a little bit of State of Origin. New South Wales is licking its wounds after a brutal 26 to 18 point loss. That was against Queensland last night in State of Origin 1. More than 48,500 fans flocked to Adelaide Oval to see the match, with Game 2 to now be played in Brisbane. But Blues coach Brad Fittler has shut down suggestions the next match will be tougher in front of a parochial Brisbane crowd.
No, nothing's impossible. It's obviously very tough. But it's what it is. It is what it is. We need to regroup, be better. We've got to be better.
It is selection night for the Crows and Port Adelaide, meantime, ahead of their round 12 matches on Saturday. The Power are expected to make changes, with several players pushing for a return from injury, including Travis Boak, Todd Marshall and Charlie Dixon. And Port has been boosted by the inclusion of Quinton Narkle in the mid-season draft. Let's go to tennis. Thanasi Kokonaka says his 5-set victory over Stan Wawrinka at the French Open was one of his two best wins of his career. The other was his victory over Roger Federer in Miami back in 2018. The South Aussie beat Wawrinka last night in 4 hours and 38 minutes.
I've missed on a lot of opportunities in the past through to injury and other stuff. But yeah, I've still got a little bit of my career left, so I'm going to try and make the most of it while I can.
Yeah, fantastic result. But fellow Aussies Jason Kubler and Storm Hunter both lost. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A morning shower or two, a high of 19. Friday, a shower or two, 21. Partly cloudy Saturday, also 21. And showers returning on Sunday, 21. At the moment, 14. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Breakfast on FIVEAA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Thursday. Welcome to June. May wrapped up. June has begun. We are into the official depths of winter, I think. Now, winter has begun, and it happens in a big and serious way for the next 3 months, I think. So buckle up. We have a big program that's on the way for you this morning on FIVEAA Breakfast. After 6:30, we're going to be off to the US. There was a road stop incident, the likes of which you're not going to see unless you're watching a big budget film that took place there. It involves a tow truck acting as a ramp. We'll get all the details and talk you through it just before 7 o'clock. Matt Abraham will join us a little bit later. We'll dissect the spin of the week.
5 out of 10, every time.
The Labor Party claiming they've found upset unionist. Someone who's supplied this program with information in the past. Tom Duday will be on the program a little bit later as well. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners, and a very special good morning to the 1, 2, 3 listeners to the FIVEAA Breakfast Show who Will and I met last night at the Governor Hindmarsh Hotel, who, like us, are also fans of Britain's Sleaford mods. Described the band last night to Will as, this is what would happen if two soccer hooligans had access to the Apple Music program Garage Band. Absolutely terrific night.
Well, this is what it sounds like.
And a mind to break. I'm gonna break my motorcycle job seeker. Can a strong on a mess. Desperately clutching on to a leaflet on depression. Supplied to me by the NHS. He said he wants this, so I've got here.
And a good morning to everyone, of course, as well.
That's right, making broadcasting history there. I think that probably not just the first time Sleaford Moz have clearly been played on 5AA. Possibly the first time they've been played on any radio station in South Australia other than 3D, I would say.
Huge crowd. It was sold out at the Gov. And I think the average age of the audience would have been...
My age, I reckon.
Mid to late 50s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's a nice subculture in this town of people my age who like going out and carrying on like they're not 50.
Well, anyone who listens to this program, this is of no surprise to them, but I think, David Penberthy, you managed to keep me young. I'm a much older man at heart than you are. Despite,
I don't think so.
I think so. It was good. I really enjoyed it.
It's good, isn't it?
I hadn't been out to anything like that since before the pandemic.
Live, yeah. Well, I mean, we were talking about that last night, and the last thing I did before the pandemic, in a sort of big mass public way, was to see a show at the Governor High Marsh, which was actually a comedy show. It was these two American comedians called Tim and Eric, who did a show there. It was pretty bizarre as well. But that was in January 2020, and then years with nothing. And I bought tickets to a couple of shows, just Australian bands like the Cosmic Psychos from Victoria, who come here quite a lot, and who are always excellent fun. But none of that happened for 2.5 years. And there was that crazy period where suddenly you'd get an email saying, "Are you going to the concert tonight?" And you go, "Oh, totally forgot. I bought those tickets 6 months ago." Because when the lockdown stopped and started and stopped and started, all these shows got cancelled. But it made clear to me there's a rhythm of life element that we've never seen so severely disrupted before, and that's not a new observation. Everyone's aware of that. But whilst most things have gone back to normal, there's a host of things that the rhythm got broken and didn't necessarily get restored to normal, and maybe it will over a longer timeline. But I thought about it in the context of going to the footy. Like for me, the idea of once you could go back to the footy, you went back to the footy. Because I'm so hardcore, it's what I do. Yeah.
But for me, going to a gig was the kind of thing that I liked doing. But I wasn't hardcore, so it wasn't baked into what I do.
Yeah.
And then it went away, and it never really came back in a natural way. Until I went with you last night, I thought, why haven't I been doing this? And I wonder whether, when you look at, we get 35,000 out of football crowds, for example. Just to use that as an example, but this would hold true for so many other walks of life. I thought, wonder how many people, for them, that was I like doing it, but it's not baked into what I do, and I've just forgotten to get back into the groove of doing it.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because the total reverse happened to me, where I go to much less football now than I did before the pandemic, because I think I sort of learnt to live without it. And also, because Kate's more into it than I am, and with a lot of the time slots, like last week, 4:10, when you got young kids, I'm more than happy to take one for the team and watch that at home. But yeah, you sort of, it did make people's behaviour alter on account of the fact that, there's nothing you can do. So when things start again, what is it that you really want to do?
You went back and did your core things. But that would be true for going out and socialising and social groups or... a whole range of things. It just made it click last night for me that some things take a while, but to snap back into place.
Yeah, no, it's good though. The big crowd though, and it was a really good crowd in the end. Was down the road at the State of Oregon.
48,000.
Yeah, maybe the sort of negativity from the New South Wales press who didn't want it to be played here at all had the reverse effect and got people, because we were talking about how badly the ticket sales had gone for most of the last week, and 48,000. I mean,
we'll never know how many of those are complimentary.
And there's 5,000 that they didn't sell. But having said that, 48,000 it looked good, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked good. I saw.
And were you there, folks? What do you think?
Yeah.
Are you a rugby league convert? Are you ready for the resurrection of the mighty Adelaide Rams?
Lucy was there. She was saying before we came on air this morning, because Lucy reviews everything now, not just movies.
Yeah.
So I asked her for a review of the State of Origin. She said it was good. She sat down, started having this conversation with her friend, and then the conversation was continuing, and then the game ended, and she realised it was all over. So didn't watch it as
got into it.
Didn't watch it as closely as she did Fight Club.
I tell you what, Lucy's day was perfectly bookended. She started it by reviewing Fight Club and ended it by seeing State of Origin. I mean, what you do for lunch? Go and watch, should have
UFC.
You bit of Conor McGregor kicking some bloke in the head.
She loves that toxic masculinity, Luce. 13 minutes after 6. We've got news headlines coming up for you in just a moment.
Australia is having a conversation about the referendum being held later this year.
So what's it about? It's about whether we should change the Constitution to recognise the First Peoples of Australia by setting up an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice.
The voice will be a permanent body.
And it'd give independent advice to the Parliament and Government on matters that affect First Nations people.
Be ready for the conversation.
Visit voice.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
So, have you been to this repairer before?
Nope.
Well, how do you know they'll do a good job fixing your car?
Because...
How do you know the price will be fair?
Well, it's because...
How do you know you can trust them?
Relax. It's because of the RAA approved repairer sign.
Oh, of course.
When you see the RAA approved repairer sign, you know you can trust them, because we do. RAA, helping you every day too.
Keep on moving on.
RAA approved repairers are independent, not agents of RAA. T's and C's apply, available from RAA.
Loving grandmother Joan should have been enjoying the fruits of a life of hard work. Instead, at 70, she was on the streets, penniless and heartbroken. Right now in Australia, older women are experiencing homelessness at alarming rates. Our mothers, grandmothers, aunts and sisters need your help. Donate to the Vinnie's Winter Appeal at vinnies.org.au or call 131812 and give immediate and long-term support to vulnerable older women like Joan.
You don't have to head south to taste your way around McLaren Vale. Just head north to your pals. Sam and Jamie from Parafield Airport Liquor Store know every drop on the shelf. They can guide you through the McLaren Vale region all under one roof. Whether you're a weekend sommelier or just know you like reds, talk wine with your pals and they'll introduce you to their best McLaren Vale pals. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Motor 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
15 minutes after 6. Plenty of reasons to jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream this morning, including our US cross before 7 o'clock, where a routine traffic stop turned into a scene out of the Dukes of Hazzard. And I say that because it looked exactly like a sort of 70s era stunt car style arrangement, except it wasn't, and people got seriously hurt. But you'll need to see it to understand it fully. Miley Hogan from 7 News will join us before 7 o'clock. A collapse in new home approvals is set to exacerbate the nation's rent and housing affordability crisis. Dwelling approvals have now fallen by more than 24% over the past 12 months. Master Builders Association Executive Director Brian Seidler says another interest rate hike will only increase the pain.
That'll mean that the mum and dad investors, who are the fundamental ones who put it on the line that we're going to build a house, are going to hold back until they see what actually happens. So, yes, they're hard times and challenging times for the entire building industry.
So yesterday, 6.8%?
It went up 0.5.
Inflation?
Up 0.5.
Driven by fuel prices largely.
Fuel, and it was driven by what they call the really volatile components of the index. So the things that move around a lot moved up. So things like fuel, food was a big one too. Food went up, some of the staple items.
Geez, you can feel that at the moment, can't you?
Completely.
Every time have you even noticed it more with like having, now that you've got Rosie, like nappies, all that sort of stuff?
Nappies are unbelievable.
Nappies cost so much money, don't they?
Yeah, and you buy bulk and think, well, that'll see us through for a long time. Then they all go.
What's a box of Huggies these days cost?
Oh, that's a good question. We have these giant. We bought in bulk,
like huge ones,
huge like pallets of them.
Yeah.
Based on each size as we went through.
Yeah, right. That's clever.
Yeah, so we saved a bit of money.
More organised than I was.
We saved a bit of money doing it that way, but it's a staggering amount.
It's about $100 a week nappies, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? And formula.
So the suggestion now is market had priced in about a 4% chance of an interest rate hike. It's now up to about a 25% chance for people who like following the forecasting of interest rate rises.
I'll put my house on it going up again. Because I think
it feels that way.
Philip Lowe has shown, he's like, what do you want me to do? I've got the booklet here. It says inflation's got to be between 2 and 3%. I'm the Reserve Bank governor. I've got to get it down there.
My only trick is he doesn't have other strategies he can use.
No, and it's his last meeting as well before his contract expires.
He said at the Senate committee meeting yesterday that hopefully I'll see you in October.
Yeah, one of the libs said to him at the end, "Are we coming back?" And he smirked, and he said, "Well, why not?" He said, "If they ask me, I'm happy to come. If not, I wish the new guy good luck." But I would say he's definitely going to do it.
It feels that way. It does feel that way. The argument against it would be we would be overreacting to month-on-month inflation data when the Reserve Bank really only looks at the quarterly CPI data, and month-to-month goes up and down. And if we just went, well, on the basis of this month, it's gone up, well, that might not actually be a good indication of where
But I
things
looked
are.
at that chart last night. I just flashed my eyes at it while having a pre-gig beer and saw that Alan Kohler chap on the ABC. He had a graph, and it went zit, 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 and it went down. That's the down sound for the last month. Then it went zit, straight up again. It's going in the one direction. I thought they only put interest rates down when there was evidence that the trend had started. Like if you look at the trend line, the trend line is continuing to go up.
Well, it was 7% to start the year, so it's still below where it was. It went down to 6.3. That, and the monthly data says it's now 6.8. So,
okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's not the sort of trend you go, okay, we've nailed this now. It's gonna right itself. It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, no. Well, anyway, sorry to be the prophet of doom so early.
No, that was good.
But it's best to plan your own household budget on the basis of it not getting better, as opposed to it getting worse.
Absolutely. The HEC stats of millions of Australians are increasing as annual indexation comes into effect. This year's increase will be the largest seen in decades, 7.1%. It will add around $1,600 to the average student loan. Australian Red Cross needs more than 8,000 people with type O and type A blood to donate in the next fortnight as the cold and flu season, combined with ongoing COVID-19 cases, hits blood stocks. What does COVID-19... I suppose if you've got COVID, you can't donate?
Don't know.
Do you do transfusions? Wouldn't be common in the treatment of COVID, would they?
I've got no idea.
So maybe it just disrupts people being able to donate.
Do I look like a haematologist?
They say around 2,000 donors are cancelling and rescheduling appointments every week.
What is a haematologist? It's a blood specialist, isn't it?
I was hoping.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are there any haematologists listening?
I would have thought.
I think that's a blood specialist.
They're up early, the haematologists.
Yeah, they are.
The worst story in Australia right now comes out of Sydney southwest, where a 3-year-old boy was killed. And a man is fighting for life after a stabbing at Riverwood.
Oh, God.
Police say the pair were known to each other. There's no one that they're looking for. A woman related to the 45-year-old raised the alarm, but the child couldn't be saved.
That's just shocking.
Awful story. Former US Vice President Mike Pence is expected to launch a tilt for the top job. He's planning on entering the race to become the Republican candidate in next year's presidential election.
Seriously?
He'll be campaigning alongside Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for the nomination.
Among the Trump crowd, he would be the most hated man in America.
I was going to say,
they hate him more than Nancy Pelosi.
I've got huge respect for Mike Pence.
So do I.
For what he did.
Mike Pence is a legend.
Absolutely.
I love Mike Pence.
But I think he's... Despite that, I bet he would be the least popular candidate amongst both parties. Because Democrats wouldn't... His position on guns and abortion and so forth, would
He's
they find
right-wing.
repugnant? But all the Trump people would find him as an absolute sellout.
Well, but he's the guy who he's absolutely policy-wise identical to Trump. He'd kick out all the Mexicans, he'd repeal Roe versus Wade, he'd do all of those things he just said. But he's also the guy who, as you know, the guy with the bullhorns was outside the Capitol and the flaming torches were being lit, said, "Hey fellas, we got this thing here, it's called the Constitution. We've got to uphold the Constitution. We lost the election. So can everyone please go home?"
Yeah, it was all him.
And for that, he's regarded... I mean, the chant was, hang Mike Pence. Hang Mike Pence.
And he wants to stand in front of those same people now and say, you know who's a good idea to be the next US president? Mike Pence.
Well, someone's got to stand up for the damn Constitution. I reckon... I mean, he's clearly got a snowball's chance in hell of winning. But good on him for sticking to his guns, so to speak.
19, the expected top today, up to a mil of rain forecast. Tomorrow, Friday, the 2nd of June, 21, the expected top, and again a mil of rain. Saturday will be 21 and dry. Sunday, 21, up to 3 mils of rain. Monday, 19 and a mil of rain. Tuesday, 20 and a mil. It's sort of drizzly, basically. You can put your house on it at this point in time. Then on Wednesday, we potentially might get some rain, but the Bureau built in a bit of a buffer for themselves. 0 to 7 mils of rain on Wednesday.
But it's pretty warm for this time of year.
The mornings aren't bad at all. 14.1 degrees outside at the moment.
It's going to be 21 today, I think. And Saturday looks great. No rain forecast and sunny.
Saturday's perfect.
21. So, yeah, if you're looking at gardening, next 4 days are good. Just have to do a little bit of rain ducking.
8223 is our number. You can text us on the Duttons text line as well. The all-new Volkswagen Amarok available right now to test drive at Duttons, Adelaide Hills. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning to you as well, Will and David.
How are you, birthday boy? How'd you pull up? Big night?
That took 10 years off when Sammy popped up and popped that confetti bomb yesterday.
I know, it was hilarious, wasn't it?
Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun yesterday.
What about the cake? The topless Tom cake.
I felt sorry for whoever had to eat,
Can anyone just go into the cheesecake shop and order them now? Did you get one for your gran for her 80th,
They would go mouldy very quickly, wouldn't they? They would not be very... But they did a great job with that, didn't they? Making
superb.
it up. Boys, last night, State of Origin. Look, it was a really good spectacle in the sense we had a close game, 48,500 fans. I think it was 48,613. Game came down to the last 7 or 8 minutes. Queensland just a little bit too strong with 2 tries in the last 10 minutes after trailing 18-16. This is how they did it.
And O'Carr has missed WIPO, and the hammer stands them up, and Queensland might be going to do it again. Tantalising kick, Lindsay Collins, a one-handed upload. The Maroons have got it 1 now, and Lindsay Collins chasing a kick. Unbelievable.
So a great finish, and look, I think we get.
They've almost won the series, Queensland.
Yeah, because now it goes to Brisbane. It's so hard to see New South Wales.
I don't think they've won ever Game 2 in Brisbane.
Yeah, it's
41 years or something.
So
they've
hard
never done it
to be able to do it. To come from a game down, 75% of sides that win Game 1 go on to win the series. It's going to be difficult for New South Wales. Look,
you were there, mate.
I was there. Look, great fun. Had a ball. Absolutely
Good
loved
atmosphere.
it. Great atmosphere.
Good seats.
Don't know. Yeah, nice seats. Don't know if I'd want it every year. State of Origin. It's brilliant, but maybe every 5 years I think is probably a good thing. And
how much money did we have to pay to get it? As well, we don't know. We won't find out.
And look, I think we got
confidence.
13 or 14,000 from interstate. There are a lot of people heading out afterwards. Great. And I guess it raises that age-old question. Could it work in AFL? Probably not, because we've got WA as well as Victoria, South Australia.
Complicates it, doesn't it?
It's just so hard, isn't it? And I take my hat off to them because, it's like for them playing 3 consecutive grand finals, playing in Origin. They put everything aside and then they front up on Saturday and play for their club. I don't know how they do it because,
it's crazy.
They're just absolutely wild out there. But, like I said, as a one-off every now and then, great. I don't know that would want to make it.
I actually don't think that, unless there's some really deluded people there who think that they can reinvent and make a success of the Adelaide Rams, I don't think that the NRL itself, well, it's actually the ARL that runs Origin. I think they'd look at Adelaide now as a bit of a wasteland for rugby league.
Yeah, no chance.
Particularly with Gather Round and Live for the next 3 years. Like, it's not going to happen for the next 3 years.
Yeah. But look, in terms of a South Australian perspective, putting that hat on, haven't we had a great year? I mean,
totally.
Live, Gather Round, like you just said, and then Origin.
And then the mods after that. Amazing.
You got Melbourne people saying, you guys turning into the sporting capital with what we've been able to do. So that is great. And then Thanasi Kokonakis, boys, as well, overnight, one of the best wins of his career. He's beaten Stan Wawrinka into the 3rd round of the French Open. I'm so happy for him. He's had a wretched run with injury and the like. So for him to go through to the round of 32, beat Wawrinka, that is massive.
Superb.
Such a good win, and to show a bit of resilience and to actually be on the right side of one of these results is great. And the mid-season draft last night, Port Adelaide, really interesting, picking up Quinton Narkle. Now he played 41 games with Geelong, lively kind of a forward, can float through the midfield, obviously trying to add some depth. Says to me they feel like they can give it a push this year, and they want that. Just
feels like insurance, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't think he'll necessarily start straight away, and might not play many games at all, but he's a nice insurance piece to have, like you said. Now, I promised...
Where's he been playing?
Well, I think he's just been playing in the VFL.
Yeah.
So
he looked like he was really going to become a feature of that Geelong side.
Always rated him.
Yeah.
I got a mate who's a mad Cat fan and really, really liked him. But, he might get a chance at Port Adelaide. I did promise report cards. We'll do them tomorrow just because we had all the State of Origin fallout today. So we'll do that tomorrow.
Magnificent work, Randy.
Thanks, boys.
Check out Gliderol Garage Doors' new Timberlook Native Series sectional doors, gliderol.com.au. A few texts coming through on the Duttons text line. Also want to talk to you about your weird dietary habits. Do you have any food rules that you live by that you'd like to share with us this morning? Because there's a very well-known celebrity whose personal fitness has been credited with his ability to have taken a pretty bad tumble overnight and continue on with his show. That's next.
Australia's constitution is 122 years old and still doesn't recognise Indigenous Australians. This year, we have a chance to fix that and give Indigenous Australians a real say in their future. To find out more, visit yes23.com.au. Join us.
Authorised by Dean Park and Australians for Indigenous Constitutional Recognition Limited, Sydney.
Most new homes are not designed for specialist disability living, which is fine for some homeowners. But if you're living with a disability and want to build a home that complies with the NDIS SDA guidelines, you need Rossdale Home Life. Rossdale Home Life is leading the way in the provision of accessible housing for all South Australians, and our dedicated Home Life team can provide professional advice on the design and construction of your new home or SDA investment property. Rossdale Homes, because trust is a must.
Ray White, big name in real estate, but also the biggest name in business broking. What makes us big? Our people, like Brett Buckley and his team. MBA, lecturer, and multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year. Brett doesn't just read a P&L, he feels it. If you're selling or expanding your business, Brett can take your business apart and find you more money. And we're not talking small change. Go on, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA.
The Teacher's Accuser, the gripping new podcast from Hedley Thomas and the team at The Australian. Follow the trial of convicted murderer Chris Dawson as he pleads not guilty to carnal knowledge of a schoolgirl. Available wherever you get your podcasts with extended coverage at theteachersaccuser.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A morning shower or two, a high of 19. With the 6:30 news, I'm Kendall Bratty.
Terrain Tamer Parabolic Leaf Springs for a comfortable ride in your four-wheel drive. terraintamer.com.
New South Wales police will spend the day trying to piece together what happened in the stabbing death of a young boy in Sydney's southwest. The 3-year-old's body was found at a unit in Riverwood. His 45-year-old father's been taken to hospital with critical injuries. Police are not searching for anyone else in relation to the death. While police have made a grim discovery while conducting a welfare check in Melbourne's west, a toddler's been found in a Werribee house alone with his mother's body. It's believed the child may have been alone for up to 2 days. The woman's death is not being treated as suspicious. Big tech companies will be forced to identify and destroy dangerous and illegal content from their platforms under new industry codes. Max White explains.
In the first 3 months of this year, the E-Safety Commissioner saw a 285% increase in reports of child abuse material online. It follows consecutive year-on-year doublings of reports during the pandemic, but the worst of the web will have to be wiped out by tech giants like Google and Facebook under new rules expected to become part of the global benchmark. E-Safety Commissioner Julie Inman-Grant has told The Telegraph the industry codes are a watershed moment. The rules will be enforced by mid-December.
New regulations on artificial intelligence are being brought in by the federal government as concerns surrounding the technology grow. 2 reports will be released today outlining a pathway for fast-track laws. The report also addresses the technology's effect on automation and jobs. A landmark judgment in Ben Roberts-Smith's defamation action will be handed down today. The former soldier sued the Sydney Morning Herald, The Age and the Canberra Times for articles which detailed allegations of war crimes in Afghanistan committed by Australian Special Forces. The verdict will bring to an end a nearly 5-year legal process. It's the first day of winter and according to crash data, that can be a dangerous time on the roads. Milasha has details.
The RAA is urging South Australians to be extra careful behind the wheel this winter as data shows an alarming spike in crashes involving our most vulnerable road users during the mid-year months. The number of fatal and serious pedestrian crashes in Metro Adelaide spikes by 47% in winter compared to the rest of the year. Drivers face extra challenges as the hours of daylight reduce and wet and foggy conditions mean less visibility. Motorists are reminded the speed limit is the maximum speed permitted in ideal conditions, so reducing your speed in poor conditions could be the difference between arriving safely and being involved in a crash.
The US Republican-controlled House is voting on debt ceiling legislation thrashed out by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Joe Biden. Democrats and Republicans have both voiced their support for the bill. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says the president is trying to protect Americans.
President Biden protected Social Security. President Biden protected Medicare. President Biden protected veterans. President Biden protected billions of dollars in funding.
One of the men accused in the Hawthorn racism scandal has taken to social media with explosive claims. Ex-Hawks welfare manager Jason Burke claims one of the families at the centre of the case are not Indigenous Australians. The AFL's independent panel made no adverse findings against him, Alistair Clarkson or Chris Fagan. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Queensland coach is praising his team's courage and determination after winning State of Origin Game 1. More than 48,000 spectators packed into Adelaide Oval to watch the Maroons beat the Blues 26-18. Billy Slater, proud of the way his side overcame the loss of 3 players to injury, as well as a sin binning to secure the win with 2 late tries.
You rattle off those stats against anyone, and let alone the quality that we played tonight. This is an almighty win, and Queensland, or the people of Queensland, will be very proud of their team.
Yeah, no question about that. Well, Port Adelaide has picked up former Geelong midfielder Quinton Narkle in the mid-season draft. The 25-year-old played 41 games with the Cats before being delisted at the end of last year, but has been impressing in the VFL with Essendon catching the eye of power recruiters. To tennis, it's been a big day of action on day 4 of the French Open. Craig Gabriel reports.
Bit of a hiccup for the top seed with Carlos Alcaraz losing the second set to Taro Daniel, but he soon righted the ship and moved through 6-1, 3-6, 6-1, 6-2. Stefanos Tsitsipas was not happy with his second set despite winning in straight sets. Arina Sabalenka beat compatriot Irina Shamanovic. Elena Svitolina overcame Aussie Storm Hunter, and Thanasi Kokkinakis won. He was fantastic, coming back from a set and a break down to beat Stan Wawrinka 3-6, 7-5, 6-3, 6-7, 6-3.
Yeah, great result there, and that is the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A morning shower or two heading for 19, a shower or two tomorrow 21, partly cloudy Saturday also 21, and then showers returning on Sunday 21. At the moment 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA.
Twenty-four minutes to 7. Police and weather are coming up very, very shortly. We're off to the US before 7 o'clock today. Bruce Springsteen had a tumble overnight at a concert. The 73-year-old was performing when he fell off the stage. You heard the awful sound as the crowd went, oh, because he'd fallen over. He laid on his back and the music sort of playing and everyone didn't know whether he was going to be okay.
Where was it? He just played a show in Edinburgh. I saw some video of that posted a couple of days ago.
He was in Edinburgh. This was in Amsterdam.
Right, okay.
So he'd gone to Amsterdam to this concert, 73 years of age, fell over with his guitar, took a tumble. Everyone held their breath. He got up and said, good night, everybody. And then went on and did a Bruce Springsteen-esque show for 3 hours and 26 songs.
Wow.
Where he was able.
So he fell over at the start of the show.
He fell over. Well, he fell over in the middle of the show, but he went on and did the whole set and continued on and did the whole thing.
Wow.
Serious tumble. Bloke's 73 years of age. Part of not only are his shows marathon, the tour is marathon as well. The one in Edinburgh, Scotland, was the first of a 19-show European tour. Then he returns to the US for a 31-show run through the US and Canada. Looking as fit as ever, Bruce Springsteen. Eats 1 meal a day. Says
One meal
a day. He's pioneered this that all the young rockers are now into. Your Chris Martins and all these other guys.
1 meal? I couldn't do 1 meal.
They're all following the Bruce Springsteen rule, 1 meal a day.
1 meal, and is it anything you want?
I assume so. You'd want it to be, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you want to have a real crack at it.
You wouldn't want it to be a garden salad.
No.
One meal a day. I can't imagine we've got any listeners that have tried the 1 meal a day.
I do
approach.
2 meals. I never have.
You always do what they call the 18-6, I think.
Yeah, by accident. I've always done it.
Yeah, the 18-6.
Yeah.
So you...
And I never eat anything between meals. Never, ever, ever. Like, I sometimes eat a bag of potato chips. But I only do that because I've got really low blood pressure. And I need salt every now and then to keep myself going.
Do you have food rules that you live by, folks? 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line. It doesn't have to be like dieting either, by the way. Just things you don't eat together.
You're a no eggs, no seafood.
Oh, well, I've not by choice, the eggs one. I love eggs, but I just can't. They don't agree. They don't love me.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, that upsets my stomach.
And you never have seafood. You don't have prawns or
oysters
or lobsters. Or
I do
anything?
things that drive all my friends that really like food absolutely nuts. Where I hate trying things out of order. Like I'll never have a sweet before I'm about to have any form of proper main meal because it just stuffs up my taste buds.
I'm with you on that.
I
don't really eat sweets anyway.
Yeah, I know, but I hate when people say, "Oh, here, try a bit of my meal." No chance. I hate stuffing around with. If I've picked something, that's all I'm eating.
How do you go if you
I
go
don't
to
want
a
to try
restaurant
5
and
different
it's a
things.
shared setting, like an Asian or an Indian restaurant? Are you?
Oh no, I'm happy to share if it's designed to share. But if I've ordered a la carte a meal, I'm not doing the whole we're all having a bite of each other's. No thanks.
Oh no, not with a la carte food.
Barry, good morning.
Good morning, boys. During the week, every week, I have 1 meal a day. I don't worry about breakfast or lunch and just eat tea.
Really, Barry?
And so I keep it down to a certain amount. But weekends, I'll have 2 meals a day.
How big is your lunch during the week, Barry?
Nothing.
So you only have dinner, mate.
Oh well, sorry. What happens? You do one meal, whatever your one meal is.
Yeah, but just dinner, so I don't worry about it at work or every day. And I've been doing it now for about 3 years, and it doesn't bother me.
So what would your standard dinner be then?
Whatever's prepared. I don't want to eat large. Sometimes I might overeat a little bit, but.
What time do you have dinner, mate? Do you have it early? Tea?
I like early.
Like what, 5:30 sort of thing?
If I get home at 5 o'clock, I like it at 5:30.
Yeah.
Well, Barry, you're Adelaide's own Bruce Springsteen.
The boss.
Barry the boss.
Barry the boss from Direct.
Let's go to Parkside. Alison, good morning.
Oh, hang on a minute. Better turn my radio down.
No, you get to that, Alison.
Oh, just give me 2 seconds.
That's all right.
No hurry.
That's all
We
right.
can talk amongst ourselves.
Why don't we do some Dutton's text while we're waiting for Alison to turn the radio off?
Yeah, we got 2 people who are into the Sleaford mods. Count them. 1, 2. Sam says, Jeepers, Sleaford mods went okay. I hope a good night was had. Indeed it was, Sam. Thank you. Philby says that he heard that the Sleaford mods were invited on 3D radio earlier this week.
There you go.
And what about this? Weighty from Seaford just texted in, taking the grand total to 3. How good were the Sleaford mods? They definitely have more energy than me. And one here saying, I agree with you, Pembo, on the coming rates decision. Primed wage rises is a concern. Certainly is.
Now, Alison, I think we've got you there without your radio on.
Yeah, all good.
All right.
All good. So, yeah, I don't have breakfast. I don't have lunch. I only have dinner, and I've done that for like 20 years.
Really?
Yep.
Do you get tired doing just one meal, Alison? I reckon I'd get...
No, I'm all good.
Do you get hangry? You know the term hangry? Hungry crossed with angry.
Do you drink coffee, Alison?
No.
Wow. No other stimulants?
I used to have like 30 coffees a day.
30?
And then, years ago. But now I have no coffee, but I have no breakfast, no lunch, and I'll just have my dinner, and then sometimes I might have a snack. But that's
My
it.
goodness.
Wow.
And that's how I live.
Maybe Bruce Springsteen got the idea off you.
Well, people proving they can do it. Thank you, Alison. Getting some text through from people's diets and food habits as well.
One here from Scott says it's called OMAD. 1 meal a day, very, very big in the, how do you say this, keto community?
Keto?
Keto. What's keto?
It's a keto diet.
Is it a high protein diet?
It's where no carbs, all protein. I think, yeah, so you just eat steak and
So
nothing
basically
else.
like you go to the barbecue in every night?
pretty much. You don't eat the bread.
Yeah, no bread. Or you couldn't eat the potato salad.
No potato salad.
But you could have the cabbage salad.
And
just, the tomato and onion.
And just meat.
So you go the mixed grill.
Mm.
I did that the other night. It's an intimidating amount of meat, but it's excellent. Matt says, luckily my wife cooks a great dinner, but I don't have breakfast, and for lunch every day it's always 3 frozen meat pies. 3! Good work there, Matt. 180 degrees, 45 minutes in the oven. Delicious, he says.
He's got it down, Pat. Thank you for that.
3 pies.
Matt, 16 minutes to 7.
I don't know if our friends at the Cancer Council will be endorsing all of this dietary advice.
It's interesting to hear what people do. Share your ideas. You know, we'll let the scientists debate about the merits of them.
I'm worried about Bruce Springsteen, though. How did he fall? Was it just
He just took a tumble off the side of the stage.
Yeah,
He tripped and it wasn't, you know.
I was just,
he didn't have a turn.
I mean, he's a massive Joe Biden supporter.
Well, that's right.
Maybe he's done it to, throw some shade on the president.
He's a very different 73 to what, to Joe Biden would have been at 73, I think. Bruce Springsteen's 73, going on about 33.
Yeah, I don't know, he does it. Phenomenal. Because those shows, have you ever seen him live?
Absolutely.
It's incredible, isn't it?
He's unbelievable. All right, we're going to check traffic, and police and weather are coming up in just a moment. Car under the weather, we'll take it to an independent RAA-approved repairer. Before you hit the road, T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will, and good morning. Roads are looking good for the drive-in today. You shouldn't have too many hassles. Starting to get busy. South Road to Edwardstown, however, do have new asphalt that's gone down there city-bound. Look out for that. Do have a lane closed at Angle Vale Road near Broster Road. Speeds at 40. Slow for works at Hilton this morning, so Donald Bradford Drive near Pearson Street. Now keep an eye out for early morning cameras. Ascot Avenue, Vale Park, and Baines Road at Woodcroft. Did someone say free donuts? That's right. Donut King is giving away free hot cinnamon donuts this Friday to celebrate National Donut Day. Donuts, miss out. Conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
You don't have to jump on a plane to find pals from around the world, or even leave the airport. Parafield Airport Liquor Store has thousands of pals in a huge old airport hangar. So maybe their pals are whiskies from Scotland, Ireland and Japan, but that's just some of their pals. With over 300 craft beers, 500 whiskies, and over 2,000 wines. New pals from around the world are closer than you think. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
If you thought it was tricky to source a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen, think again. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has loaded up on new stock. That's a massive range of new and demo Volkswagens available for delivery right now. Loads of colours, loads of options, plus on-site finance options available. Get in now and secure your new Volkswagen before the end of financial year. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
We all know that ASIC Couriers are a great SA family business. The whole family's involved. They support local communities. They do the whole thing. But they're also a business doing great things for your business.
That's right, Will. ASIC Couriers pride themselves on being able to deliver for your business in a safe and timely manner. Their drivers undergo intensive training, and the ASIC compliance team regularly audit their fleet.
And with all the technology they use, I'm talking things like satellite navigation, real-time GPS, it allows the ASIC Couriers team to collect your job quickly, travel on the most efficient route, and make deliveries on time.
It's amazing how all their technology works. It's all in real time, so you can see where it is and how far away it is. So whatever your business needs delivered, don't risk it, ace it.
Australia is a country where hard work is rewarded, but not for 8-year-old Nick. Nick is one of the 1 in 6 Australian children living in poverty. Even though Nick works hard at school, poverty means he doesn't have everything he needs and is still falling behind. Why should poverty stop Nick achieving all he's worked for? Please help Nick get the out-of-school learning support he needs to make the most of his education, so he can finally see his hard work pay off. Search the Smith family. Donate today.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
12 minutes to 7. Let's head to the Weather Bureau. Mark Anilak, senior forecaster, on duty today. Mark, before we look forward, we've just concluded May. All up, how did it look compared to the history books?
To be quite honest, it was a little bit wetter than what we would have expected, to be honest. I think the average and the mean and median are both in the 60s. we ended up having about 72.4 millimetres, so slightly above average for this May. In terms of temperatures, just having a quick look at that now, and the average is sort of around 18. We did get to an average of around about 17.8, so perhaps slightly cooler than average and slightly wetter than average for Adelaide this May.
All right, what have we got for the rest of the week, Mark? Looks like it's going to be sort of that constant level of, a little bit of drizzle around the place.
Fairly mild temperatures, actually. We've got 14 degrees out there at the moment, heading for 19 degrees today. Look, the Weather Watch radar does have some light drizzly showers moving up over the southern suburbs and in through the Adelaide Hills. Given that the winds are sort of east to northeasterly, I can't see that lasting for too much longer in the morning. So just a slight chance of a drizzly shower this morning, but the rest of the day should be mostly fine, heading for a top of 19 degrees. Tomorrow, we have a bit of middle-level cloud moving across. Still those northerly winds continue, so heading for a top of 21 degrees. Maybe a spot of shower activity from that middle-level cloud, but not a huge amount expected. Saturday at this stage looks like the pick of the days. Partly cloudy, 21 degrees, should be fine, ahead of a change coming through on Sunday, bringing another shower or two. So at this stage, Saturday looks like the pick of the days, but fairly mild temperatures for the next few.
Good stuff. Thanks for that, Mark. Mark Anelak there from the Weather Bureau. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan from SAPOL is on the line now. Jen, we've had a spate of copper thefts and another one at Valley View.
We have, and this was at 12:15 this morning. Police were called to Paul's Drive after witnesses reported an unoccupied house was being broken into and the suspects were leaving the scene in a vehicle. So police quickly responded to the area and located the vehicle and the suspects and an address at Gillies Plains. They searched the vehicle and located an amount of copper, which was taken from the Valley View address, which luckily they've been able to return to the owner. And they also arrested a 37-year-old man and a 34-year-old man for unlawfully on premises and theft, and they're going to go to court in July.
Good result there. Thank you for that, Jen. Jen Cullinan from SAPOL. Can somebody help me out here, please? 8223 0000. What do you do with the copper? Like, it's a massive trend. It happens a lot.
They on-sell it? One of those.
Well, where do you sell it? Like, what is it? Sort of, you go to some scungy
I don't want to name any of
the
the places where I think you possibly could, because I would not like to impugn good businesses.
Yeah,
but I think that you can sell stuff for scrap, can't you?
But then what do you do with the copper?
You sell it for cash, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean,
what do people use it for?
What do you use it for?
Well, yeah, good question. Is it more building projects?
Because reputable tradies aren't skulking around looking for Steptoe and Son type Arthur Daly out the back of the boot of a car copper.
Gary in Prospect's called in. What do you do with copper, Gary?
Yeah, they on-sell it. You clean it up. So if you strip, say for instance, if you steal electrical wiring, strip all the plastic off of it, and just take it down to a metal merchant, I suppose that's the best way to put it, and sell it.
So, but so then, when the next person buys it, Gary, what are they using it for? Is it the same application, using it for a legitimate electrical wiring job at a new house or something like that?
So what they would do is the merchant he would then on-sell it to all the different metals that they get. They would grade, and then it would obviously be melted down and reused, remanufactured.
And they use it for things like connection pipes for hot water services and stuff like that too, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Dave in South Brighton's got a thought. Morning, Dave.
Yeah, guys, I'm a plumber, and us plumbers, when you pull out a hot water service or old tapware, you always keep the scrap. It's worth a lot of money. Back when I was working for myself, so this is, 15, 20 years ago, I was making $300 a week from scrap.
Really?
So, the copper in one hot water service, Dave, what would that be worth?
You get out of the old Bosch heaters, they were about 7 kilos. So I think current prices today is, I don't know, my mate runs a scrapyard and he was saying it's the highest prices he's ever paid. I think it's probably be over $10 a kilo. We quoted a job the other day, or in fact we got the job. 3 hot water services were stolen in one night from an apartment block. In one night.
That's amazing, isn't it?
7 kilos, so you're making $70 a hot water service. It's not.
Well, it's a fair bit of money in the current climate.
I always go back to this, but you can do 3 hours working in a bar and you'll make more money than that.
That's true. Exactly. If you're doing it, particularly if you're pulling beers on a weekend. My hot water service got ripped off when I was living in Torrensville. When I was living in Wainhouse Street years ago. Some bludger went and ripped it off out the back.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I was in the shower in the morning going, why is it so damn cold?
I encourage you to jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream because Miley Hogan for Channel 7 in the US is on the line to describe a scene that she'll do an excellent job of describing, but to see it will add an added dimension for you. So just jump on the live stream and have a look at this. A crash in Georgia, the likes of which you won't see outside of a Hollywood set, I imagine. Miley, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. It certainly does look like a scene out of a Hollywood movie, an action film. It has been compared to scenes out of Dukes of Hazzard. Have you guys had a look at the vision?
Yes,
amazing.
I've seen it. It's unbelievable. Dukes of Hazzard, it's exactly right, but this was not by design at all.
No, look, it was a pretty incredible accident. This car... Oh, look, I'll set the scene for you. There is a crash on the highway and police and emergency vehicles are attending. A tow truck parked up on the side with its tray down, ready to collect this damaged vehicle. But another car has come speeding up the highway. Something's happened to the driver. It's unclear if they're distracted, they didn't see the tow truck, and they have launched off that tray up over the cabin and flown 40 metres through the air, flipped, and then landed upside down on another car. Now, the driver, incredibly, did survive, but does have very serious injuries. Flying debris, flew and hit another officer, but this entire incident was captured on a police officer's body cam, and you can see that officer running to help, and it really is an incredible scene, something that you would see in a movie and you wouldn't believe that the driver would be able to walk away, or not walk away from, but survive.
Is it clear yet to you, Miley, or people that have been at the scene, how it was that a car approached the tow truck with such speed? Because it launches off. It's not like they see it and they've clearly applied the brakes. It looks like they haven't seen the ramp on the tow truck at all.
It does appear that they just haven't seen the tow truck in that position. The truck is in the perfect position for a car to come up and just drive over it. Of course, that's not what you would want to do at speed. So it just appears the driver hasn't seen it, has been distracted. Of course, that's all part of the investigation. But the car has perfectly managed to hit it at the speed that it was going along the highway and go straight over the cabin.
I knew you'd do a good job describing it, Miley. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Miley Hogan for Channel 7 the US. You can check it out on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. You'd certainly see it on the news tonight because it does look like something that you'd see it on a set on a movie performed by stunt people.
Yeah, it's astonishing.
Adrian's called in from Golden Grove. Morning, Adrian.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I just want a little anecdote about copper. Many years ago, well, not so many, half a dozen years ago, was collecting 1 and 2 cent pieces, which banks don't take anymore, and had been doing so for several decades, and had about $30 worth. And obviously banks don't take them anymore, so I took them down to the scrap metal and got $66 for them in scrap value.
You're joking? $30 worth of 1 and 2s became $60 in copper.
Correct, mate.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Well, thanks for that call, Adrian. Andrew in Blackwood says it gets smelted down to produce more products. And
that makes sense.
Michelle says on the Dutton's text line, when we put in a new air conditioner, my husband stripped the old unit. He took the copper to a recycler and we got $200. And he had to sign a declaration to say that it wasn't stolen.
Do you reckon those declarations are the preventative measure they were designed to be?
Well, it's something, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe pharmacists can do that. Next time you buy some cold and flu tablets. Have you ever been a member of the Comancheros? No, I have not. Has anyone ever been tripped up? It's like when you go to the US and the old visa form. Have you ever been convicted of war crimes? I'm putting yes.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, no.
You got me.
Once on a long-haul flight back to Australia, my wife, sleep-deprived, where you tick every box as no, war crimes, animals, hides,
terrorism,
$10,000 cash, terrorism. She ticked yes to every single one. And we got to the customs guy. Thank God it was Australia because he had a sense of humour and he went, Is this all accurate? No.
No. Yeah. Did you enjoy your holiday, Mrs. Abu Nadal?
5AA News is coming up. We'll take you through some of the stories of the morning next.
To help build South Australia's future, our young people need the skills to build theirs. That's why the state government is building 5 new technical colleges across the state. They'll help address our critical skills shortage and take high school students from in-school to in-demand in areas like advanced manufacturing and engineering, defence, early childhood education and health and social support. Get a head start to a hands-on career while completing your SACE. Find out more at technicalcolleges.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia, Adelaide.
I never thought I'd be homeless at 70, but I was. And I'm not alone. Women my age are experiencing homelessness at alarming rates. Please donate to the Vinnie's Winter Appeal at vinnies.org.au or call 131812 and give older women like me the immediate and long-term support needed to escape homelessness forever. If it wasn't for Vinnie's, I don't know where I'd be.
The all-new Amarok is finally here at Southern Volkswagen Ranella. The all-new Amarok is in stock and ready to test drive. Don't delay. Call Southern Volkswagen now and test drive today. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Southern Volkswagen. LVD 152780.
With even more NBN speed to more Australian homes, NBN is really made for more. More what, I hear you say? Well, more streaming. More gaming. And more working from home.
Bye.
Pretty cool, huh? To find out how you could enjoy a faster, more reliable NBN home connection, search NBN More Speed. Experiences may vary due to a range of factors.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A morning shower or two, a high of 19. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Terrain Tamer Parabolic Leaf Springs for a comfortable ride in your four-wheel drive. terraintamer.com.
The State of Origin series opener at Adelaide Oval last night's being hailed a big success. More than 48,000 fans turned out to see the game, which was won by Queensland. Tourism Minister Zoe Bettison says 13,000 of those were from interstate, helping fill our hotels.
It's shaping up to be the best Wednesday we've ever had on record. 92% occupancy. 9,681 rooms were sold. Now, this might end up being the third best night of all time after WOMAD this year and Ed Sheeran.
But there was some controversy and Indigenous senators criticising the game for alluding to the upcoming Voice to Parliament referendum in the Welcome to Country before the match. Fans were told serious conversations will take place before the end of the year and were asked to make the right call. Jacinta Numpagimpa-Price says it was inappropriate.
Australians don't like being lectured to. I've always said politics needs to stay out of sports. It's certainly turning me off, and I'm Australia's a big sporting country.
Police are trying to piece together the moments leading up to the stabbing death of a young boy at Riverwood in Sydney's southwest. More from Sarah Stewart.
A 45-year-old man remains in hospital under police guard after undergoing surgery for severe stab wounds. No charges have yet been laid, but forensic officers remain on the scene this morning trying to work out what happened. Yesterday afternoon, a woman called police for a welfare check, and when they arrived on scene, tragically, they found a 3-year-old boy with severe stab wounds had passed away. The 45-year-old man is believed to be the child's father. The woman who called police lived at the unit alone and is not the child's mother. It's understood she passed away a couple of years ago. Police aren't looking for anyone else and have described it as a domestic violence-related incident.
The HECS debts of millions of Australians will rise as indexation comes into effect. High inflation has caused the student loans to significantly rise by 7.1%, the largest hike in the scheme's history. The National Tertiary Education Union has released a new report saying the repayments of some university degrees could now be extended up to 44 years. A judgment will be handed down today in the defamation case involving Victoria Cross recipient Ben Roberts-Smith and 9 newspapers. He claims he was falsely depicted as a war criminal who broke the moral and legal rules of military engagement and that his life has been ruined. Big tech companies will be responsible for taking down child sexual abuse material and pro-terror content under new rules. E-Safety Commissioner Julie Inman-Grant says industry codes are a watershed moment which could set the global benchmark. A team of Sydney researchers have made a major breakthrough which could significantly improve understanding of endometriosis. Ella Smith explains.
Scientists from the Royal Hospital for Women and the University of New South Wales have become the first in the world to grow all known types of endometriosis tissue in a laboratory. The team will trial many types of treatments on the cell clusters, which is both faster and safer than testing on humans. Endometriosis affects 1 in 9 people, but the disease is poorly understood, meaning sufferers sometimes undergo a one-size-fits-all treatment. Doctors hope the breakthrough will help fast-track new therapies and eventually improve how early fertility issues are identified.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Queensland has taken the all-important first Origin match after coming from behind to beat New South Wales 26-18 in last night's thriller at Adelaide Oval. The match was played in front of more than 48,000 fans, with the series set to move to Brisbane for Game 2 later this month. Well, it's selection night for the Crows and Port Adelaide ahead of their round 12 matches this weekend. Adelaide will travel to Darwin to take on Gold Coast on Saturday night. The Crows have won at the ground a couple of years ago, but many players haven't been there to play. Former captain Rory Sloane telling Rowie and Timmy G his memories of the ground aren't great.
Unfortunately, my knowledge is a little bit shaky from last time I went up there. I think that was last time I went up there. I saw some stars, and Tex was trying to get me off the ground against Melbourne. So we had a good win up there last time. So that's the plan and that's what we want to build as a group, to be able to go anywhere and be able to perform.
Meantime, Port Adelaide has picked up former Geelong midfielder Quinton Narkle in last night's mid-season draft. West Coast took key forward Ryan Marich with pick 1. Let's go to tennis. Thanasi Kokkinakis has beaten Stan Wawrinka at the French Open in a 5-set match lasting 4 hours and 38 minutes.
He really made me earn it and made me win it, so just super happy and super proud at how I was able to stick together and win that.
Yeah, great result. Storm Hunter and Jason Kubler, the fellow Aussies, unfortunately lost their matches. Better results, though, for the respective number 1 seeds on both the men's and women's side, Carlos Alcaraz and Iga Swiatek, both progressing to the 3rd round. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
Good morning. Good as gold on the roads this morning. No great dramas on the way to work, which is excellent. It's starting to get busy, however, South Road at Edwardstown. Also got some new asphalt that's gone down there. That's near Castle Plaza. Keep it in mind on the way into the city. Lane closed at Angle Vale Road near Broster Road. Slow for works at Home March this morning. Port Road near George Street with cameras Fraser Avenue, Happy Valley, and McGill Road at McGill. Business ideas flowing? Feels like your business is growing. NAB Business Lending offers flexible finance for big ambitions. Search NAB Business Lending. T's and C's, fees, charges and lending criteria apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video. Direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A morning shower or two, a high of 19. A shower or two tomorrow, 21. Partly cloudy for Saturday, also 21. And then showers on Sunday, 21. At the moment, 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
June, Thursday morning. If you're tuning in for the first time, you're tuning in at a great time. Matt Abraham is not too far away. We'll dissect the spin of the week with Matt after 7:30. And Tom Duday from the Adelaide Football Club after 8. I wonder how much credit he'll be claiming for the Brisbane clash. I mean, it did stand in stark contrast to his absence when they played the Bulldogs at Ballarat.
The Dudabags.
He's too He's not like that, the dude.
No, he's too modest.
He's far too modest. All right, let's jump into some of the stories of the morning, starting with an ad campaign that I think it will be well and truly welcomed amongst the 5AA breakfast audience, because so far this year we've lost the lives of 9 motorcyclists on South Australian roads. 5 were lost in metro areas, all of which were male riders. There have been 71 serious injuries to motorcyclists, 68 males and 3 females. 38 of the crashes occurred in rural areas, 36 in metropolitan areas. Those are the stats. The sum of that horrific report card for motorcyclists in SA is a new ad campaign that's been launched by SAPOL.
What do I love about riding? It's the thrill, the excitement. Riding gives me a sense of freedom. I feel so connected to the road. Riding is like therapy to me. It makes me feel alive. Love riding? Back off.
Back off before thrills turn to grief is the message of the campaign, aimed at 20 to 29-year-old male motorcycle riders, primarily with the focus those two on regional areas.
Well, yeah, I even wonder whether you'd narrow it down. You know, we've had stories over the past year of, you know, blokes in their 50s being caught on motorbikes doing 110 in a 60 zone. It's, you know, most motorcyclists are just people who enjoy that form of transport, and, you know, motorbike design, beautiful thing. But some of them, complete half-wits, absolute morons. Like, I've seen people fanging it down the Southern Expressway, and I just think, you're just another statistic waiting to happen, mate.
Here is Police Superintendent Darren Filkey, who's the head of traffic.
We've had 9 motorcycle deaths this year. All of them have been male. All of them have been preventable.
Yeah, all of them preventable. I haven't got too many hard and fast rules with my kids, but not riding a motorbike's one of them. If my son said, Dad, I want to get a bike, I'd say...
Mum was
you're not.
We had
You're
very
not
few
getting
hard and
one.
fast rules, but that was one of Mum's. Because she had a good friend that became a quadriplegic.
Seriously? On a bike, obviously.
On a bike, yep. Rode a bike when he was young, and whilst he was still young, had a crash. And she was, the moment we were born, that was a thing. You're never getting on one, let alone riding one.
Have you ever ridden one?
No.
I rode a mate's moped once.
Fun?
Actually, it was quite funny. We're having a party. It was when I was at uni, and I was sober, but we'd run out of beer. And I drove from Mum and Dad's house in Mitchell Park to the Marion Hotel, and I bought a slab and I put it on the footrest. And I was riding the bike with 2 slabs of Cooper's Draft under my feet, and I got to the end of quick road, and I turned left, lost control of it, and drove into somebody's front yard. And they came out and beer all over their yard.
You trying to transport alcohol in a low-speed accident.
It was terrific.
That's a different ad campaign, I think.
But I insist I was sober. That's why I was being responsible.
It feels like we've done this story before. It's just that we're doing it more with more important people and more influential people lending their signatures and voices to this. And they're growing increasingly doomsday-y, these sorts of warnings. Artificial intelligence could lead to the extinction of humanity, according to, you know, the people that came up with artificial intelligence. OpenAI, you might know them. They did ChatGPT. Google's DeepMind, they're Google's answer to all this. They're doing.
They've put out like an open letter, haven't
they?
They have. The guys who invented it.
The Centre for... This is not fringy sort of science fiction obsessed nerds. This is the people that are... So I shouldn't have the mirth in my voice, but it's sort of how outrageous this situation is.
You have to laugh.
The very people who are working on this are the ones saying it is potentially the end of humanity. Now, they've echoed another former group of scientists who once said that what they were working on could be the end of humanity. Those that worked on the nuclear bomb, splitting the atom, the Manhattan Project. You had Einstein, you had Oppenheimer, and all these sorts of people saying, this isn't a good idea. The same thing's happening again. And in fact, the Centre for Artificial Intelligence Safety have said mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war. So they're echoing the sentiments of that period in the 40s and 50s. The website explains, and I know you've asked this before, what does that look like? What is, right now it's a Google chatbot that maybe gives you dodgy information at worst. Well, this is what they've put out, these 4 dot points. These are the possible disaster scenarios. AI could be weaponised. For example, drug discovery tools could be used to build chemical weapons. We had the other day the discovery that had taken place where in an hour and a half, an artificial intelligence had determined some drugs that could fight a superbug that was antibiotic resistant, that would have taken humans years to try and synthesise that data. But what if you use that to find something that kills people? I guess would be dot point number 1. Dot point number 2.
Well, how to replicate like the Ebola virus, for example.
But make it as contagious as COVID.
Yeah.
AI-generated misinformation could destabilise society and undermine collective decision-making.
Well, this is
the
deep fake of Zelensky being assassinated. That suddenly Ukraine, a nuclear power responds to a fabricated incident.
We saw how realistic the fake Koshi was the other day.
Yeah.
You can imagine how quickly that could be turned into something nasty. Dot point 3, the power of AI could become increasingly concentrated in fewer and fewer hands, enabling regimes to enforce narrow values through pervasive surveillance and oppressive censorship. That one's imaginable.
Totally.
It's just a capability that is then possessed by the few. The last one's interesting. Enfeeblement. And I actually think this is one that you'll be sympathetic to.
Enfeeblement.
Enfeeblement, where humans become so dependent on AI, similar to the scenario portrayed in the film Wall-E.
That they can't actually do anything.
People just don't
like spell.
Spell.
Well, we're already there, aren't we? Command L spell check. That's been stuffing up people's capacity to spell for 20 years now.
But isn't it the spell check times...
It is.
1,000?
It's spell check on steroids.
Because it's instead of spell check, it's any basic quandary, query, or thought you have, you can check.
Yeah. We're at the point now where people think the ability to spell is kind of a nice to have thing.
Here's AI pioneer Geoffrey Hinton.
The idea it might wipe us all out. That's like nuclear weapons. They'll be able to manipulate us into doing whatever they want. It'll be like you manipulating a 2-year-old.
Feels a bit like the end of the excellent original RoboCop to me. Where RoboCop is designed to never attack anyone from the corporation that invented him. Like that, there's something like that could actually happen with AI, where AI, it's unlike other computer programs. The scary thing would be if AI develops the desire to survive, a survival instinct, where it's like, no, you're not turning me off.
Yeah,
I got stuff to do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's almost like, I'm sorry, Dave, I cannot do that.
Well, and this all sounds like the purview again of science fiction, but these are the people that are working on it saying that, like, this is where we are currently on the inside of the Manhattan Project in the 40s, where, except in 2023, Einstein, Oppenheimer, and these guys have Twitter accounts. And we know, it's not all top secret. We're hearing about the warnings as they come out.
All of this is just a great argument to eat good food and drink a lot, I think. Because,
so everything is.
We're lucky to be in South Australia. We've got a lot of cheap red. Might as well. It's 1 minute to midnight.
Live your best life, you might say.
Live your best life.
Like Al Pacino is right now, who's welcoming a baby into the world.
Say hello to my little friend!
That is the best use of audio ever.
He's 82 years old, Al Pacino, and he's set to become a father for the 4th time.
Well, isn't it amazing how, in a cinematic sense, De Niro and Pacino sort of mirrored each other. Now they're doing it with fatherhood.
It's like the competition continues.
It's like, all right, you've done Taxi Driver, I'm going to do Serpico.
You've had a child at 80.
You've done Mean Streets, I'm doing Dog Day Afternoon.
Al Pacino.
You had a kid? I'm having a kid. I'm having a kid here.
Love knows no bounds. His 29-year-old girlfriend.
29.
Just the 53-year age difference.
29? She's 29?
That's like you meeting your future partner who's just been born today.
There's something faintly off about that.
I think it's more than faintly off.
That's a staggering age difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's her story? How old was that bloke Anna Nicole Smith married? Remember him? He looked like an animated corpse in that wheelchair.
Yeah, that was
the Texan oil baron.
Was that true love, or was that an investment strategy?
He looked like the wheelchair in Psycho in the cellar. How scary is that saying? When the wheelchair turns around.
Locally, there's a power outage in Blackwood with 9,700 homes and businesses affected, so it's a big one. The estimated restoration time is 9:15. The cause is yet to be determined. We'll keep an eye on that one for you.
A grim but important text from Wally the Walnut pertaining to the serious conversation we're having earlier about the commendable campaign by SAPOL to raise motorcycle driver awareness. My dad lost his father on a motorbike in the 1930s when my dad was only 2. Then my half-wit brother, that's what the text says, just reading them out, he got one in the mid-1980s. Was Dad happy? Not at all. Thanks for that, Wally.
Keep them coming in, those Dutton's texts. The all-new Volkswagen Amarok available right now to test drive at Dutton's Adelaide Hills. Time to check traffic. If your car's under the weather, take it to an independent RAA-approved repairer before you hit the road. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. She's looking really good for the driving today. You shouldn't have too many hassles, which is excellent. Starting to get busy in a couple of spots on South Road, including Edwardstown and also at Mile End. Do have work slowing things up at Hilton, Sir Donald Rabbit Drive near Pearson Street. Slow for works at Hindmarsh, Port Road near George Street. Look out for cameras this morning. Lewis Road, Paynham South, and Maya Road at Lonsdale. Harrow Scarf's enormous 4-day sale ends today with 60% off selected Manchester, 50% off Tefal cookware, plus 40% off bras, knitwear and more. That's great brands at great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Parents admit they're losing the battle against social media. A YouGov survey finding more than a quarter believe it's somebody else's responsibility to stop their children connecting with strangers online. Someone else's responsibility.
Weekday mornings from 9.
Incredible that a quarter think it's someone else's responsibility to do that. No. You're the parent. Unreal.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA. Dream big, South Australia, because you could win big in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. The $4 million grand prize, just minutes from Adelaide CBD in leafy Melbourne, could be yours. Plus, there's a catalogue bursting with over 13,000 prizes, including luxury cars, holidays and cash. With a 1 in 15 chance of winning, get your tickets today. Join the fight. To see full details, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14364.
Don't just send it, ace it.
I'm with Chris from ASIC Couriers, an SA family business doing great things for your business.
Thanks, Rowie. Our drivers all undergo intensive training and the ASIC compliance team regularly audit our fleet. Plus, we use the latest satellite technology to track your deliveries. No matter what it is, we can deliver it safely and on time. Visit asiccouriers.com.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Now, we all know that RAA is great for getting individuals back on the road with road service, but did you know that they can also help businesses?
RAA's road service works for business too. Fleet Road Service is designed for nominated work vehicles, so it could be 1 or 2 or all of them, and with over 350 road service patrols on hand 24/7, they'll keep your business on the move.
Now, it's important to note that road service for business goes with the vehicle, so it doesn't matter who's behind the wheel of a company vehicle. RAA will get it back on the road, whether it's in the city, the country, or even interstate.
Find out more, search RAA Road Service for Business, available to RAA Fleet Road Service policy holders. T's and C's apply, available from RAA.
It's tax time at Bunnings Trade. Get in quick for amazing tax time deals on brands that mean business. Like the Makita 18-volt 9-piece combo kit with carry bag, 3 5-amp batteries and charger for just $1,999. That's over $3,200 worth of tools for just $1,999. Plus, purchase before June 30 and get a bonus Makita 5-amp battery valued at $189 via redemption. Don't miss out this tax time at Bunnings Trade. Helping business is our trade.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5. State-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
22 minutes after 7. Matt Abraham's not too far away. We'll talk sport in a minute as well. But first, Aman Abrahimzadeh joins us.
Aman, always great to catch up. Now, we speak frequently, I think, importantly too, about the story of what your family endured, mate, losing your mum, what you and your sisters went through, all on account of domestic violence. And as our listeners now know, you've done a great job turning your mum's memory into something lasting and important through the Zara Foundation. And you've got your annual Lotus Ball coming up in a bit over a week.
Yes, we do. Good morning. So we do. We've got our Lotus Ball coming up on Saturday, 10th of June, at the Convention Centre. And as you mentioned, Dave, we've set up this foundation in my mum's honour. And every time we do hold an event, ever since the launch of the foundation, really back in 2015, we've continually gone back to the Convention Centre where she was killed. But we have used the venue to essentially reclaim that space and not affiliate that venue with the bad memories or the incident, but more about, I guess, what the foundation does, and that is empowering women, breaking the cycle of violence, and preventing women from falling into poverty and homelessness.
Well, that sort of economic angle is probably even more important now than it has been in many years too, I guess, Armand, with the cost of living squeeze, the pressures that's putting on the budget, and blokes who are sort of ill-equipped to handle that pressure, going down the wrong path of hurting their partners, their wives, their girlfriends. You've got Anne Summers coming. She's got some pretty grim research about the actual economic aspect of domestic violence that she's going to be presenting on the night.
She does, yeah. So she has authored a report called Poverty or Violence, and it's essentially it contains a whole heap of information and a whole heap of statistics, but it essentially talks about how women are either forced to stay in abusive environments and live with the perpetrator of violence, or if they decide to leave, if they summon up the courage to leave, then there's a chance that they will face poverty, homelessness, and a whole heap of other challenges. And I guess for us, we saw some alignment and synergies there, because that's what we essentially try and do. We try and prevent women by falling into that cycle of poverty and homelessness with all the tools and all the programs and all of our initiatives that we offer.
Well, you don't need to have a report to tell you that, because you lived that, didn't you? You guys lived in your car when you moved out.
We did, yeah. So unfortunately, we had our own experiences, which unfortunately, in this day and age, women and children fleeing abusive homes still face the same sort of challenges.
Yeah.
So over the past 13, 14 years, even though some things have changed, but women that do summon up the courage to leave still face challenges. And that's what we're trying to. That's what we're trying to break. We're trying to break that cycle of violence, to break the cycle of women falling into poverty and homelessness.
Well, look, it's coming up on June the 10th, and as you said, mate, holding it at the place where your mum lost her life and reclaiming that space is a very noble and important thing. You do great work at the Zara Foundation. Anybody who wants more information about tickets to head along and support the important work that Armand's family do and their supporters do, just go to Zara, which is spelled ZAHRA, foundation.org.au/events. Good on you, Armand. We'll catch up soon, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, boys.
Cheers.
26 minutes after 7. Time to turn our attention to sport for a moment. For the perfect meal, head to a Barreau Hotel, the Albion Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior or Sundowner in Whyalla. Last night, Rowie and Timmy G were broadcasting from Adelaide Oval ahead of the State of Origin game, and rugby league legend Darren Lockyer swung past the broadcast for a quick chat.
I always say the most rewarding thing for a rugby league player is win a premiership, and I would say that's the same in your code. The toughest challenge as a rugby league player is playing Origin, and the highest honour is playing for your country. But this is the best of the best in our game, going at it, and it's physical, and it's fast. So and it just means so much to the respective teams that they're playing not just for each other, they're playing for their state, and they just go that extra inch. When they're busted, when they're tired, they just pick themselves up and find it.
Yeah. Interested to hear from any of our listeners that got along last night. You're waking up this morning. You're a long-time lover of league, or were you just turning up out of curiosity last night? If so, what was your review? 8223 0000, the number.
Pistol from Hope Valley on the Dutton's text line says, after heading to State of Origin last night, they should think about changing the name to Hugby. All they did was run into each other and hug. I tell you what, I don't know who's hugging you, Pistol. I've never been hugged like that.
Tough love.
That's right.
Tough love. For the perfect meal, head to a Barreau Hotel, the Albion Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior or Sundowner in Whyalla. 5AA News is coming up, and after 7:30, Matt Abraham's going to join us. We'll dissect the spit of the week, including this little behind-the-scenes fracas in Parliament where the state government claims to have found the mole.
The other thing I want to know, who's taking the Reserve Bank Governor's advice and moving either back in with their parents or trying to find somebody new to move into their house? He's got a tin ear, this bloke, hasn't he? Living in his 26-room house in Randwick that he paid off years ago, earning, what's he earn, 1.4 mil?
He should stick to talking about stats, data and economics and not real-life solutions to economic financial hardships.
He hasn't got a good bedside manner, has he, when he starts? No. I don't think they ever have at the Reserve Bank.
No, they're not bedside manner people.
They're economists.
5AA News, Matt Abraham next.
See Differently needs your help today. For our beautiful little puppies to become guide or assistance dogs, it costs tens of thousands of dollars each. That's why we need your support. It takes 2 years, a huge amount of training and the support of volunteers to make them the heroes of tomorrow, ready to change someone's life forever. RSB is now called See Differently and we ask you to do the same. Please donate today. Go to seedifferently.org.au and make a difference.
The Royal Flying Doctor Service will be landing in your letterbox soon. Expect to learn about all the incredible things they do to help all South Australians, including those of us who live in Adelaide. It could be a heart attack, motor vehicle or farming accident. It could be helping a mum deliver a premature baby. Without the Royal Flying Doctor Service, they'd have to go it alone. For the people and the life you love, keep the Flying Doctor flying. Please show your support and donate today. Visit flyingdoctor.org.au.
You might think having thousands of POWs is excessive, but that's not what the team at Parafield Airport Liquor Store think, because that's how many they have. Sure, they might be made up of over 200 gins, 300 craft beers, 500 whiskies from around the world, and over 2,000 wines. But they're some of the best POWs you can have, and they're always looking for more. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. POWs, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Did you know home care packages are available to residents aged 65 plus in Adelaide? Janu are experts with over 30 years experience, partnering with local providers, helping you get the best value from your home care package and enabling you to maintain independence in your own home. To find out more about Janu's home care packages today or how to transfer your existing package, call 1300 558 368 or visit janu.org.au. Janu, supporting you your way.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A morning shower or two, a high of 19. With the 7:30 news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Terrain Tamer Parabolic Leaf Springs for a comfortable ride in your four-wheel drive. terraintamer.com.
There's a major power outage affecting Blackwood and surrounding suburbs in the Adelaide Hills. Almost 10,000 homes and businesses are impacted. SA Power Networks estimates power won't be restored till after 9. The cause is still unclear. The boss of the Commonwealth Bank thinks the Reserve Bank will leave interest rates on hold next week. Inflation data yesterday defied expectations, with CPI rising to 6.8%, higher than expected. CBA Chief Matt Commons says it could sway the RBA's decision.
We still think they'll be on hold next week, but I think it's probably slightly lifted the chances of them increasing. And I think the other decision that will be of interest to them is the Fair Work decision that I think gets handed down on Friday. But on balance, we think they'll be on hold. There's probably one more rate hike.
Another builder has gone under. A1A Homes and its sister company A1A Commercial have gone into administration. The Melbourne-based group built residential and commercial buildings across Australia and New Zealand. While creditors are chasing up to $10 million in unpaid debts following the collapse of Adelaide home builder Felmeri. There are around 130 tradies and contractors who are owed $2.5 million, and the number of customers affected is over 120. After 110 sitting days and months of deliberations, a judge will this afternoon hand down his decision in the Ben Roberts-Smith defamation battle. More from Josh Bryant.
It's a decision 10 months in the making following the lengthy defamation battle launched by the decorated soldier against several Nine mastheads over a series of articles he says portrayed him as a war criminal, a bully and a perpetrator of domestic violence. The media outlets are seeking to rely chiefly on a defence of truth. Ben Roberts-Smith denies all of the allegations against him. him. The stakes are high, with legal costs alone already estimated to be in the tens of millions. Justice Anthony Besenko will hand down his judgment in the matter at 2:15 this afternoon.
2 men have been arrested for allegedly stealing copper at Valley View. Police were called to Poles Drive just after midnight after witnesses reported an unoccupied house was being broken into and the suspects had left the scene in a vehicle. The vehicle and suspects were found at an address in Gillis Plains. The 37-year-old and 34-year-old man have been charged with being unlawfully on premises and theft. They'll face court in July. Australia's Red Cross needs more than 8,000 people with type O and A blood to donate in the next fortnight as the cold and flu season combined with ongoing COVID cases hits blood stocks. They say 2,000 donors are cancelling and rescheduling appointments every week. A former Hawthorn welfare manager has spoken out on social media following the conclusion of the AFL probe into historic racism allegations at the Hawks. Eddie Summerfield explains.
Ex-Hawthorn welfare manager Jason Bird has made the extraordinary claim one of the families at the centre of the case aren't Indigenous Australians. The AFL's independent panel found no adverse findings against Burt, Alistair Clarkson and Chris Fagan. The ex-Hawks welfare manager taking to social media on Wednesday night to make the claim, also describing Hawthorn's governance as poor. It's as the legal counsel acting for the families, Leon Zweier, has confirmed the group will go through the Human Rights Commission.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with State of Origin. It's been hailed a big success here in Adelaide after Game 1 was played in front of almost 49,000 fans at the Oval last night. In a seesawing battle, Queensland came from behind to beat New South Wales 26-18 to now lead the best of 3 series 1-0. Game 2 will be played at Brisbane on June the 21st. Let's go to AFL, and former Geelong player Quinton Narkle has joined Port Adelaide in the mid-season draft. The 25-year-old played 41 games and booted 18 goals for the club before he was delisted at the end of last year. Meantime, former Magpie Caleb Poulter has been picked up by the Western Bulldogs, and Gippsland's Ryan Marich was taken by West Coast with pick 1. Well, South Aussie Thanasi Kokkinakis has produced a big win at the French Open. Craig Gabriel reports.
The State of Origin was in Thanasi Kokkinakis' hometown, but his performance was so worth staying up for after the football. On his 5th match point, after 4 hours 38 minutes of grinding tennis, Kokkinakis reached the 3rd round, beating Stan Wawrinka 3-6, 7-5, 6-3, 6-7, 6-3. It's only the 2nd time he's got so far at a major, and the last was here 8 years ago. This is a massive result for a guy who's been through the mill with career injuries. A backhand wide from Wawrinka sealed the match as the Australian dropped to the court.
Yeah, brilliant result. And in the Europa League final between Sevilla and Roma, it's into extra time after the match finished at 1-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
Looking good for the drive-in today. No great hassles. Busy in a couple of spots, however. South Road at Edwardstown. Do have new asphalt that's gone down there city-bound, just near Castle Plaza. Quite sluggish at Springbank Road at Clapham. Got a lane out of action this morning at Highgate. Fullerton Road near Crossroads. Speeds at 25. With cameras Glenburn Road, Firle, and Main South Road at Morford Vale. At Coles Express, score free limited edition 4 and 20 socks when you purchase 2 4 and 20 pies or sausage rolls for $7. Hurry while stocks last at Coles Express. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A morning shower or two heading for 19. Tomorrow showers 21, finding up on Saturday also 21 before the showers return on Sunday 21. At the moment 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
22 minutes to 8.
5 out of 10, every time.
Matthew Abraham on 5AA Breakfast.
Your local Mitre 10 friendly service, expert advice, quality brands at great prices. That is mighty helpful. Mitre 10. Matt, good morning to you.
Morning, Will.
Morning, David.
Didn't see anyone abseiling from anything.
No.
What, inviting a $50,000 fine or 3 months jail time on your way here, Matt?
3 months in the clink. The end of
Is that ever going to happen?
The end of the democracy as we know it.
We found out last week that you can actually bash a random passerby at Glenelg, leaving him with irreparable brain injuries and not go to jail for it. So
when the maximum sentence is 20 to 25 years.
There might be a hanging judge out there somewhere. We get to find them.
I was astounded by that decision.
That was a shocking decision.
I have to say, there's not many things I miss about Mike Rann, but if Mike Rann and his then Attorney General, Mick Atkinson, were in office, they would definitely ask the DPP or instruct the DPP to appeal that.
100%.
No, it wouldn't even touch the ground.
Rann
would be out of the blocks first thing. Like, he wouldn't have a cabinet meeting about it. It'd just be, Mick, do it.
Yeah. And Atkinson would have done it with glee.
Yeah. So, yes.
Governments have become more loyally, though, haven't they?
Yes, I think they have. And it was put to me that when we've seen here Peter Malinauskas, I think, being sucked into a Liberal agenda a lot more deeply than he needed to be. I mean, there are a lot of other ways he could have handled that protest in terms of, we'll refer it to, we'll have an official review of it. I'll appoint a learned sort of former police commissioner to look into it and come up with recommendations about, we should do this in a measured way, instead of doing what he's done. So we've now got this big penalty, which will be up to the courts to apply. And as you said, it'll be interesting to see if any of them do it. And it does up the ante, though, because what the Premier is, the argument is that we haven't changed the Public Assemblies Act 1972. Now, I've had a look at the Public Assemblies Act 1972, and it's quite bizarre. It came out of a particular Vietnam moratorium demonstration on the corner of North Terrace and King William Street on September 18, 1970.
Was that the one where there's a famous portrait that's done of a Flinders University academic he looked like Jesus. He had a flowing beard and long black hair, and he's standing like a human star in the middle of that intersection.
I think so.
Can't remember his name. One of our listeners will know.
Was it
Brian?
Was it Meldrum something or other? Anyway, isn't this terrible? We shouldn't do this on air. But anyway, I'm sure some of our learned listeners will call in.
They got all the answers.
So what happened there was that Don Dunstan told the then police commissioner, look, just let them protest. Don't go nuts here. Just back off. I don't want any violence there. Let them protest. The police commissioner believed that he didn't have to accept direction from the government, and so they end up arresting 130, protesters. Some dragging some by their hair into paddy wagons, all that sort of kit. I think they had police on horses, the whole lot. It was quite a demonstration. I remember a certain ABC journalist who I think's dead now, who was covering that demonstration. He's in the march, and of course a lot of people had long hair then, including journos. And so he's in this march, and he's walking along with his, rather heavy sort of cassette recorder as they had at the time. You need to look that up, Gen Z listeners. And anyways, he's walking along with this thing, and a policeman whacked him over the back of the head. So he sort of fell down, and he got up, and he ran after. This is what was happening. He ran up after the cop and decked the police officer over the noggin with his cassette recorder, smashing the cassette recorder and obviously doing a lot of harm to the police officer. So, and this was a journalist covering the Vietnam March. Now, we don't advocate that. But that was the heat of the moment thing. And you can imagine the paperwork at the ABC trying to explain why you've done your Panasonic cassette recorder damage. So what happened after that is that Dunstan set up almost immediately a royal commission into that actual single demonstration. And out of that, and this was...
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Judge Bright. It's a Bright Royal Commission. Now, it's quite hard to get a copy of that, but I've read parts of it during the week. I've got a copy of it. Not that it's... it's just back in 1970. It's another... the past is another place, as they say. It's quite a bizarre and engaging read because... among other things, he tries to work out what constitutes, protest in a public place. And he goes back to this lord who was shooting grouse on his property. And a man walking along the road was trying to alert the grouse by opening and closing his umbrella. And the Duke or the Lord, whoever it was, reported the umbrella opener, and he took him to court and won as a protester. And so this is the sort of stuff that Bright investigated. Anyway, out of that, we had this act, which is the SA Public Assemblies Act, 1972, and it's remained unchanged. And Peter Malinowskis is saying, look, this is unchanged. We haven't changed a word of this act. And what it does is it enshrines the right to protest in South Australia. It guarantees immunity from prosecution of any sort for protesting, as long as you get permission from the police or another authority.
Which is the Malinowskis defence is you've still got every right in the world to protest, provided you do it within the acceptable boundaries, i.e. get police permission and don't go dangling off any bridges.
That's a very long way of saying Dunstan set up a Royal Commission into a single protest. And it came out with, an act that's probably served us well for 51 years. Well, so the Premier says it does.
Where's the downside for the Premier, Matt?
Well,
because it's not with our audience here.
No, I know that.
But has he picked himself an enduring fight with some within caucus, do you think, by doing this?
Well, this caucus is pretty tame, as we know, I think. I mean,
no substitute for winning either, is there?
While you're on a winner, you're going to accept a lot of things. So I doubt I doubt it's going to trouble him for long. The human rights, I think, the Australian Human Rights Commission says it's going to take this to the High Court. Well, first of all, the High Court's got to accept it. I doubt they will, looking at it, because they're saying that this impinges on freedom of demonstration and political communication. And I would think the High Court would look at the Public Assemblies Act and say, well,
this has all been long established.
It's long established.
Yeah.
The only, I think, fly in the ointment here, to me, is that, okay, you can say we haven't changed a word of the Public Assemblies Act, but by putting in place $50,000 fine, 3 months jail, there's potential, and also the ability of police to recoup costs, really you are upping the ante on that act. You mightn't be changing the wording of that act, but you're sort of bolting off it penalties that, can be, they'll be quite crushing, I would think, for an individual protester. It came to that. And the other thing is, if you get an approved demonstration, so you go through the Public Act, you're immune from civil, action or criminal liability. If you get that permission from the police, what if the demonstration then goes off the rails? So you've got an approved demonstration that goes off the rails and is invaded by maybe Extinction Rebellion or something like that.
What happens then?
Yeah. I mean, I was at covering a Pauline Hanson rally down at Findon one night. I'll never forget this. And there were police there with white horses, like the police greys in front of us. And there were just a crowd of people there. And suddenly these thugs, far-right thugs, punched their way through literally, I've never seen anything like it, they've led a sheltered life, punched their way through this crowd. And it was an incredibly violent thing to do, to get it, and walk past the police greys to get into the hall. And so there you had a fairly peaceful protest that suddenly went nuts. And I wonder then with those people whether the police can say, well, you're not part of this protest. You're going to, we're going to bang you up or attempt to bang you up for 3 months in jail or $50,000. Thank you very much. And you can pay for the cost of us trucking our horses down the Findon and all the other things associated with that. So it's an interesting one now. I don't know where it'll go really, but
be tested by the court, won't it? We'll get a definition that way ultimately.
Yeah. Professor Brian Medlin.
That's it.
Professor of philosophy.
I knew it wasn't Molly Meldrum. I knew it.
Professor of philosophy at Flinders.
That's it.
Matt, do you think it's valet to a passionate contributor to this segment, the upset unionist, who Labor are saying they've found that, in fact, it wasn't an upset unionist or disgruntled member of Peter Malinowskis' team or a staffer. It was, in fact, an email distribution error where a junior Liberal staffer had been added to a distribution list. This is one of those things where it makes it easy to send out communications to your whole team. You automate it. You don't have to type in everyone's email address. You just type in one keyword and it will send it to all the people you want it to. When the construction of that, they included a Liberal staffer by accident. They say they've found the rat. Now they're saying there needs to be recriminations and David Spears needs to come down hard because they've been using internal communications for political purposes.
I'm outraged. We need to save upset unionists.
Yeah, we love him.
Let's get the placards out.
Justice
for the upset.
Let's register a very legal protest in support of...
We'll have to ask the police commissioner if we can do it first.
Yeah, we'll tell Grant Stevens we're doing it. There's a statement that the Libs have sent in about this saying, and I quote, "The Liberal Party vehemently rejects any allegations the staffer is responsible for Labor's leak email. Ramping is at record levels and South Australians are struggling with the cost of living crisis, but instead of addressing these serious issues, Peter Malinauskas has dedicated taxpayer resources to conduct a pathetic witch hunt."
Oh, yeah. We'll know one way or another, won't we? Because if the upset unionist emails stop, then it's a fair guess that they've found
Politics
the culprit.
being what it is, this sort of... And Donald Segretti, a very bit player in the Watergate break-in, can't use the term that he coined to characterise this kind of low-level chicanery that occurs in politics. But I actually think if this upset unionist dies, another one will emerge.
Yeah, let's hope so.
So there's a great
It
old
was
story
very handy,
about,
actually, getting caucus minutes.
There's a great story about the old Melbourne Herald Sun in the 1950s. On a slow news day, an enterprising young reporter was told they had nothing for the front page, and he made up a story that there was a man called the Hook who was terrorising the chaste women of Melbourne by boarding trams, and he had a hook and he'd lift up their skirts to look at their panties. And the whole story was completely made up. The next day...
Is that ethical?
The police commissioner held a press conference and said, "I've got good news, we've caught him." So someone read this article, there's an idea. So this is what... I tell that story because if one upset unionist dies, another one will emerge.
Another one will be born. 9 out of 10, every time. Time to rate some spin.
Now, look, I was so tempted to use the grab of Zoe Betterson saying that after claiming that they have $31 million of free publicity or publicity for the Sam Smith concert, they found out that most of it was negative publicity, bad publicity, and so they're going to look at how they assess this sort of stuff.
The Tourism Commission adherence to that old adage that any publicity is good publicity.
Some things are too easy and too predictable. So let's go off base here. This is Candace Taylor. I originally thought this was a joke, but it's not. There is such a thing in the US as a flat Earth group who really do believe the Earth's flat. It's not a globe. Now, Candace Taylor was speaking to them as an interview. Now, she ran for a Republican governor in 2022, so last year, and she's recently been elected the Republican, Grand Old Party chair in Georgia. This is her talking to the Flat Earth Society and expressing her concerns about the globe.
The people that defend the globe don't know anything about the globe, because if they knew a tenth of what Matt and I know about the globe, they would be flat earthers, because it's absolutely ridiculous.
I can't unsee this. All the globes everywhere. I turn on TV, there's globes in the background, there's globes on there right here. Like this would be a globe if I was a normal person. Like everywhere there's globes. You see them all the time. I mean, it's constant. My children will be like, "Mama, globe, 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 globe." They're everywhere. And that's what they do to brainwash. And so for me, if it is not a conspiracy, if it is, real, why are you pushing so hard? Everywhere I go, every store, you buy a globe. There's globes everywhere, every movie, every TV show, news media. Why?
What about that accent?
Yeah.
Oh my
She sounds like she's from Western Queensland crossed with some hillbilly.
Oh my goodness.
Globes. So look, I'm advocating a return of the flat electric light globe. Well, what do we give? I'm giving Candace, 5 out of 10.
Yeah. 5 out of 10 every time. That was superb and terrifying in equal parts.
Wow.
Thank you, Matt.
Good on you, Matt.
Much like your segment. Your local Mitre 10, friendly service, expert advice, quality brands at great prices. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10. Let's check traffic. If your car's under the weather, take it to an independent RAA-approved repairer before you hit the road. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. There's a car and truck crash to look out for this morning. This one's at Clearview, Grain Junction Road at Hampstead Road. A few delays there at the moment. Busy in a few spots, including South Road at Edwardstown, also Springbank Road at Clapham. One lane is out of action at Eastwood this morning. Glen Osmond Road near Fullerton Road, speeds are down to 40. That's pretty sluggish, actually. And right now, got cameras Gage Street, Firle and Lewis Road at Paynham South. The Harson Tunnel down track is closed for night works, with traffic diverted to the up track tunnel. Allow extra travel time. Register for updates at dot.sa.gov.au/Harson. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
IGA's Price Match Promise. We checked, we matched, you won't pay more. Every week we check and match the regular price of the big two supermarkets on hundreds of everyday products. Just look out for the Price Match tickets in store. Participating stores only. See website for full terms.
The all-new Nissan Qashqai has been awarded the 2023 Drive Car of the Year Best Small SUV. And with Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses, you can drive the award-winning Nissan Qashqai ST for competitive weekly repayments that include the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
If your wallet's been feeling the burn, you can save cash and live cheaper with these Cheapest Chips hot buys.
Snack to your heart's content. Cheapest Chips have the sweet tooths covered with Cadbury favourites, 265 grams, just $4.99. Or for the savoury types, Samboy and Thins Chips, 175 gram bags, 2 for just $5.
And to wash it all down, as Samuel L. Jackson said in Pulp Fiction, Pepsi and Schweppes, 1.25 litres, scorching hot at $1.75. Or pick up some Master Foods squeezed tomato sauce, 2 for $4.
I'll strike you down with great vengeance and furious anger. Load up on essentials while you're there with 110-pack finished dishwashing tablets, just $17.99. That is crazy. Just read that again. 110 finished dishwashing tablets, $17.99 at Cheapest Chips. Radiant Commercial Blend, 2 kilos, red hot, $7.99. And you'll be smelling as fresh as a daisy with 3 assorted Lynx deodorants for just $10.
Check out this week's catalogue for more hot buys in-store and online. Save cash and live cheaper with Cheapest Chips.
The Teacher's Accuser, the gripping new podcast from Hedley Thomas and the team at The Australian. Follow the trial of convicted murderer Chris Dawson as he pleads not guilty to carnal knowledge of a schoolgirl. Available wherever you get your podcasts with extended coverage at theteachersaccuser.com.au.
We walked in and our entire place was ransacked. The TV was smashed.
No.
The couch was slashed.
What?
My record player and records were all broken.
You must have been freaking out.
Then we saw the possum.
Wait, what? Possum did all that damage?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Unexpected things happen. That's why if you're renting, consider contents insurance from RAA, so you can keep on moving on. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Consider the PDS and TMD. Product issued by RAA Insurance, available from RAA.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
5 to 8. We know times are tough when the purse string's tight and it's sometimes the poor car that feels the pinch. Well, don't fear. We've had a chat with our good friends at the RAA and they've come up with this, a $500 independent RAA approved service voucher that you could win simply by going to 5AA.com.au. Then make sure you tune into us all this week. We'll be announcing the winners during the program, all thanks to RAA. Car under the weather, take it to an independent RAA-approved repairer before you hit the road. T's and C's apply. There's still a big power outage affecting people in the Blackwood area. Nearly 10,000 homes and businesses affected. The estimated restoration time, 9:15 a.m. Time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
Yes, Steph?
Good morning, Premier. Tom Goodson-Tonus is here to see you.
Okay, send him in. What's all that noise?
We're dealing with it, Premier. Shut up. You can go in.
Come in, Tom.
Hello, Premier Peter.
G'day, Tom. What's going on out there?
Oh boy, it's just Frank.
Frank who?
Frank Pangello is still filibustering.
Oh, does he realise the legislation's gone through?
Well, I don't know. I tried to tell him, but he wouldn't stop talking, so
Well, what's he saying?
At the moment, he's reading from The Art of French Cooking by Julia Child.
What?
The recipe for beef bourguignon.
What's the point?
I don't think he cares. He just wants to...
Oh, get him in here, will you?
Oh, really? Why do we need to...
We can't have sitting members of Parliament behaving like complete nitwits. Get him in here, Tom.
All right, Premier Peter. I'll get him in here. Okay.
And now it's
Frank, he wants to see you.
Fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber.
He's reading Shakespeare now, Premier.
Grim-visaged war has smoothed his wrinkled front. Now,
Oh, for goodness sake, Frank, the legislation's gone through. You lost.
I always thought we were an autonomous collective, not a self-perpetuating autocracy in which the working classes are oppressed when we should be an anarcho-syndicalist commune where the people are an executive officer for the weak and the underprivileged.
Frank.
Supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not because some watery tart throws a sword at you.
Frank, that's Monty Python and you know it.
Oh, what a giveaway. Now we're seeing the violence inherent in the system.
Shut up, Frank.
Shut up, Frank.
Help, I'm being repressed. Can you see me being repressed?
Frank yesterday, when we spoke to him, seemed not equally, but certainly disappointed both that the legislation went through and that he was unable to beat the filibustering record.
I know, he tried to resume his speech on the 5AA Breakfast Show.
News coming up, breaking at 8 next.
Dream big, South Australia, because you could win big in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. The $4 million grand prize, just minutes from Adelaide CBD in leafy Melbourne, could be yours. Plus, there's a catalogue bursting with over 13,000 prizes, including luxury cars, holidays and cash. With a 1 in 15 chance of winning, get your tickets today. Join the fight. To see full details, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14364.
Winter is coming, and it's bringing heavy rain, gusty winds and roaring thunder. But the forecast isn't all bad, as the Olympic Industries winter sale is on now. Expect strong savings across our entire range, including sheds, garages, carports and verandas. So step out and grab a deal. The Olympic Industries winter sale is on now. Olympic Industries, built to last.
If you thought it was tricky to source a great end of financial year deal on a new Volkswagen, think again. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen has loaded up on new stock. That's a massive range of new and demo Volkswagens available for delivery right now. Loads of colours, loads of options, plus on-site finance options available. Get in now and secure your new Volkswagen before the end of financial year. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Every week, a team of generous people deliver delicious meals to wonderful people.
Well, I like to drive, and my mate here doesn't play golf.
Nah, it ruins a nice walk.
So we thought we'd team up and give Meals on Wheels a hand.
Got a car, a licence and a bit of time? Just a few hours in the middle of the day.
And people are always happy with the meals and a chat.
He does love to chat.
I'm listening.
Like to drive? We could do with you. Go to mealsonwheelssa.org.au. Meals on Wheels. Great food, great people.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A morning shower or two, a high of 19. With the 8 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Terrain Tamer Parabolic Leaf Springs for a comfortable ride in your four-wheel drive. terraintamer.com.
There's a significant blackout affecting Blackwood and surrounding suburbs in the Adelaide Hills. Almost 10,000 homes and businesses are impacted. The power may not be back on until after 9 o'clock. A 3-year-old boy is being killed and a man's fighting for life after a stabbing at Riverwood in Sydney's southwest. Police say the pair are known to each other and they aren't looking for anyone else. A woman related to the 45-year-old man raised the alarm, but the child couldn't be saved. Superintendent Sheridan Waldo says police are investigating if it was a domestic violence incident.
Any kind of incident involving a small child is always a tragic incident, and our condolences go out to the extended family of the child. And it's obviously an incident that, unfortunately police attend domestic violence incidents all the time.
And police have made a grim discovery while conducting a welfare check in Melbourne's west. A toddler's been found in a Werribee house alone with his mother's body. It's believed the child may have been alone for up to 2 days. The woman's death is not being treated as suspicious. Big tech companies will be forced to identify and destroy dangerous and illegal content from their platforms under new industry codes. Max White explains.
In the first 3 months of this year, the E-Safety Commissioner saw a 285% increase in reports of child abuse material online. It follows consecutive year-on-year doublings of reports during the pandemic, but the worst of the web will have to be wiped out by tech giants like Google and Facebook under new rules expected to become part of the global benchmark. E-Safety Commissioner Julie Inman-Grant has told The Telegraph the industry codes are a watershed moment. The rules will be enforced by mid-December.
2 reports will be released today laying the groundwork to fast-track the laws that govern artificial intelligence. There's concern AI technology is moving at such a rapid pace, governments and companies can no longer keep up. Tech chiefs argue laws need to be tightened, otherwise the explosion in AI could lead to human extinction and disinformation. Education experts are reassuring us university is still worth it despite the nation's spiralling HECS debt. A 7.1% rise in line with inflation's being applied to more than $74 billion of outstanding debt. Andrew Norton from the Grattan Institute says higher education's usually a pathway to wealth.
I think repayment times will go up for the students who are paying high student contributions, but fortunately I think this union analysis is not right because it's assuming that the starting salary only increases by about 2% per year when we know that the graduate salaries actually increase rapidly in their first 10 years after finishing.
The FBI is reopening its case against Julian Assange. The US law enforcement agency is seeking to gather new evidence against the WikiLeaks founder. Mr Assange is currently being held in a British prison where he's appealing a US extradition order. Former US Vice President Mike Pence is expected to launch a tilt for the top job. He's planning on entering the race to become the Republican candidate in next year's presidential election. He'll be campaigning alongside Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for the nomination. NASA's held an historic meeting on UFOs a year after launching a study into unexplained sightings. More from Lauren Tomasi.
A group of NASA scientists have been dubbed the UFO Task Force as they work to try and explain mysterious sights in the sky. Some 800 unidentified events have been recorded, the agency logging up to 100 each month, but only a small portion of those remain a mystery. Many have now been debunked to be events like commercial aircraft lights or natural phenomena. NASA says there has been an enormous demand for answers from the public and has put a big focus on transparency. The agency also revealing some of its scientists will be working with the Pentagon on top secret UFO cases. The meeting's main takeaway today is more data is required, and so far there's no evidence of alien life.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Check out Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Timber Look Native Series sectional doors. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. New South Wales is going to have to do it the hard way if it's to win the State of Origin series. The Blues are 1-0 down in the best of 3 series after blowing a lead to lose 26-18 last night at Adelaide Oval. The Maroons can wrap up the series with a winning Game 2, which will be played at Suncorp Stadium on June 21st. Well, 13 players have been picked up in the AFL's mid-season draft, with West Coast taking Gippsland tall Ryan Marich with the first pick. Former Geelong midfielder Quinton Narkle has been taken by Port Adelaide, while ex-Magpie Caleb Poulter was taken by the Western Bulldogs. Richmond picked up Tigers VFL player James Trezisi, who's told the AFL website he was training when his name was called out.
I was in mid-training and then, Steve Morris pulled all the boys aside and then announced in front of everyone. They all got around me, all jumped on top of me.
Yeah, great result. Well, South Aussie Thanasi Kokkinakis has equalled his best ever result at a Grand Slam, moving through to the third round of the French Open after a gruelling 4.5-hour marathon win against Dan Wawrinka. He'll now take on Karen Khachanov in the third round. But fellow Aussies Jason Kubler and Storm Hunter have both been beaten. In some soccer, Sevilla has won the Europa League title after a dramatic final against Roma. Scores were locked at 1-1 after extra time, the Spanish side then prevailing 4-1 in the penalty shootout.
And Montiel stares at the prize. Sevilla again and again and again. 7 times in 18 years. The prize is their property.
Yeah, great call. That audio thanks to Stan Sport. Meantime, Sky Sport UK is reporting that former Socceroos coach and current Celtic manager Ange Postecoglou is emerging as the preferred candidate for the vacant Tottenham job. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
Got a car and truck smash to look out for this morning at Clearview, Grange Junction Road at Hampstead Road, causing a few delays. Quite busy in a few spots, including South Road at Edwardstown, also Springbank Road at Clapham. Slow for works at Hilton, so Donald Bradford Drive near Pearson Street, speeds at 25. And look out for cameras, Penny's Hill Road, Hackham, and Young Streets at Ranella. The Adelaide Central Market you know and love is open as always. Shop Tuesday till Saturday with the best fresh local produce, cheap eats and essentials. Only at the markets, Adelaide Central Market. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A morning shower or two heading for 19. A shower or two tomorrow, 21. Finding up on Saturday, also 21. And showers returning Sunday, 21. At the moment, 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberth.
Minutes after 8, breaking at 8 in just a moment. Tom Duday not too far away either. The good news for people in the Blackwood area is the power is now back on. That is a happy development, given the expectation was that wouldn't return till after 9 o'clock. It's 9 after 8, and here we are, power back on. If it's not the case, do let us know. 8223 text us on the Dutton's text line. We've been talking all this week about our wonderful partnership with the good people at RAA, who have come up with a good way people can make sure their cars are safe and maintained at a time when cost of living is through the roof. A $500 independent RAA approved service voucher. For listeners who jump on the 5AA website, 5AA.com.au and register, congratulations this morning to Chris Parsons, who's got that service voucher coming to their way. Chris, not sure if Chris is a male or female, but Chris, you've got $500 coming your way. Car under the weather, take it to an independent RAA approved repairer before you hit the road. T's and C's apply.
Good on you, Chris.
Andrew in St Clair's called in. Morning to you, Andrew.
Good morning, guys. How are you going?
Good, thanks, mate.
When I heard the news yesterday about the overnight vote in the Legislative Council, one thing just sprang to mind, and I've seen this a few times before, and I've never really understood it. Currently, we've got a Labor government in place, led by Peter Malinauskas. Now, he's not a member of the upper house, but he leads a government that has got a very, very strong position, and historically, he personally has got a pretty strong record, along with many others, on workplace safety. Yet that house was allowed to sit until, and they tried to actually adjourn debate until the next day, but they were effectively forced to sit, and it ended up going until 7 in the morning. Now, where's the workplace safety in that? You've got staff who are there to help the running of Parliament. Those people would have worked for, 12, 14, a lot of hours, probably 16, 18 hours.
Well, I reckon it would have been more than, it's more than that, Andrew, because the debate went that long, and their work day would have started at 8 or 9 the morning before.
Conceivably, they were there for 22 hours.
How do those people get home afterwards? Do any of them drive?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you,
I wouldn't want to drive a car after 18 hours. I just think, as a government, these people are they're giving out one message, but what's good for the goose is not always good for the gander, and they're quite happy to dismiss that for whatever reasons, whether it's because they all wanted to go to Origin last night, or whether they were just sitting there saying, no, if you guys want to stifle this debate, you're going to earn it, or whether it was a bit of bastardry in that way, I don't know. But it gives a very, very poor message to the workers of South Australia, and also to the employers of South Australia, to allow that sort of activity to occur.
And to your point about how did they get home, Andrew, unlike any of the front bench MPs, none of them have got drivers.
No.
So they've got to get them under their own steam.
I don't disagree with anything Andrew just said then. I think it's stupid. There's a lot of those archaic, stupid rules that still exist in Parliament where those kind of things can happen, and filibustering and all that kind of stupidity. Even though I'm largely untroubled by the new laws,
I'd defend the right, though, of Pangallo and everybody else to have
Completely.
a massive argument about it, because it's important that Parliament debate these things.
But theatrical
the
filibustering
way they
where you're
did
reading out recipes and things, I find totally stupid and a waste of everyone's time. The Andrew's point is right. The theatrical side of the performative side of sitting overnight is just spare us.
Yeah.
Time for breaking it.
We have Ponchki.
What?
We have got Ponchki.
What?
Will. There's not actually breaking at 8. But
Hang on, what?
Now, this is a special surprise for you, my Polish friend.
This is the best breaking at 8 ever.
Yeah. So these Ponchkis, our good mate Chris Jarmer at Jarmer's restaurant there in Bowden, been talking to Chris. His father, who is chef extraordinaire, Austrian heritage, he has access to a recipe. I don't know who from. Probably one of his Eastern European connections. These are made by Chris according to the traditional Polish recipe.
Oh my goodness!
The plum jam filled Polish. What's it called again?
FIVEAA.
FIVEAA. We've got Ponchkis, folks. Big thanks to Chris.
Oh my word, Chris Jarmer.
You can start nibbling on that while I do the actual breaking at 8 if you want, mate. But we wanted to, because I know how much you love them, and this is something.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Breaking at 8's actually about Upset Unionist, which was a topic that we touched on with Matt Abraham before. As you know, Upset Unionist is this anonymous mole on North Terrace purporting to be somebody inside the Labor Party. Well, Labor are arguing black and blue that it's no one in the Labor Party, that there's no leak coming from the Labor Party, and they say that they're now convinced that it is a Liberal staffer. Well, I've spoken to the Libs, who are prepared to concede one thing only, which is that this staffer in question did receive one piece of correspondence from the government in error. They were incorrectly put on a mailing list, and they received the first Labor Party caucus agenda in error. But the thing is, the second leak, which was about a caucus meeting at Tail and Bend, that was not sent out to this person. That was a genuine leak. And the Libs are saying that this staffer never got that document and had absolutely no involvement in writing any of these emails. So the question remains, how did the second leak happen if it wasn't this staffer? Who leaked the second one? Who wrote the email? And more interestingly, given that Labor's now saying that they reckon that they've got the mole and that he's a Liberal staffer and that the whole thing's a heap of hooey, what happens next time there's a leak? One of the Libs said to me, they're going to look like an absolute pack of idiots if more stuff does get leaked. And to the point we made earlier with Matt, politics lends itself to mimicry. There's nothing to stop a new person coming along and taking his place. How's the Ponchki, though, more importantly?
Oh, my God, I just had a semi-religious experience. My goodness.
They look great. And I'm not a sweet tooth. They look really good.
Well, they're not that sweet.
Yeah.
They're slightly sweet, but the plum jam, it's plum.
Bit tart.
Well, I just love the whole jam. I'm sure that breaking out was good. Sorry, I was just
whatever it was.
I was on another plane.
I was a bit distracted myself.
You know me. I never eat during the show.
I reckon there's 7 of them on the plate. Let's see how many are left by the end.
I just need now. I don't know whether we conduct the negotiations live on the air or not, but do I have to keep the Jarmer family on retainer now? How many of these can we produce? The rest of the Polish community in Adelaide, I think, will be very keen to find out about this.
Yeah,
this new development.
Someone texted in yesterday saying that apparently Pasadena Foodland have them. If anyone was going to have them, it'd be Pasadena Foodland.
I wasn't aware of that.
They got everything down there. It's amazing, that place.
That was utterly superb. That is the best surprise I've had on air.
I knew that'd make you happy.
That really has made my day. Wait till I show Mum. All right, what do we do next? Traffic. I'm distracted. This is what I don't eat during the show.
You do traffic.
I've got to focus.
I don't know anything about the traffic.
All I can think about is Ponchki now. Oh, my God.
Do you want me to do traffic?
No, it's okay.
I'm terrible at reading.
That's all right. I've got to push the button anyway. Car under the weather, take it to an independent RAA-approved repairer before you hit the road. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. At Clearview, car and truck crash to look out for Grand Junction Road at Hampstead Road. Busy in a few spots, including Springbank Road at Clapham, also South Road at Edwardstown. Slow for works at the moment at Wingfield, north-south motorway near the Wingfield ramp. Got a lane out of action there. And look out for cameras Glenburn Road, Thurl and Harris Road at Vale Park. The 40 Wings end of financial year sale is on with up to 50% off store-wide, plus an extra 10% off a huge range. Limited time only, exclusions and T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
If you tackle somebody and you wrap up both his arms, you take him to ground, whether it's one motion, two motions, lift or whatnot, and his head hits the ground, see you later, alligator.
I say hug him. Give him a nice big hug and hope that the umpire pays hold the ball.
Rowie and Timmy G.
That's about it. Isn't it? You can't take it to the ground.
Is that where we're heading?
Try telling an Origin player to do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you'll receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
Well, by now, everyone knows about Corby Continence products.
Of course. Well, word was bound to get out.
Leaks?
Not a chance. Corby has scientifically designed leak guards.
Ooh, effective?
Well, had the US Army used them, we never would have heard of the Ecuadorian embassy.
That's some protection.
And if you're on a home care package or an NDIS participant, Cormy will give you a free trial pack worth up to $100.
Oh.
Just go to cormy.com.au.
Winter is coming, but the forecast isn't all bad, as the Olympic Industries winter sale is on now. Expect strong savings across our entire range of sheds and more. Step out and grab a deal. Olympic Industries, built to last.
You can always expect the very best from designer appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, which means right now when you come in store and mention this ad, you'll get half-price installs on dishwashers, washing machines and dryers. Plus, you'll receive a 6-month supply of premium cleaning products by Power of 4. Now till the end of June, just mention this ad. T's and C's apply. Head to the home of Mr. Dishwasher and discover designer appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
Hurry into Ranella Mazda. We're stocked with CX-5 and CX-9 ready for immediate delivery. No reasonable offer will be refused. CX-5 and CX-9 stock must be cleared. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Ranella Mazda. LVD 152780.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
I'm the dude, so that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
21 minutes after 8. Thanks to Leader Computers, Australia's largest Australian-owned PC manufacturer, based right here in Adelaide. Tom Duday in the studio. I suppose we're going to talk a bit about footy. We're going to break up a conversation around the Succession finale that we were just having. Good morning to you, dude.
You don't really have to talk footy. But yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Oh, no, I think you got a pretty good... Things are going okay. It's not sort of,
As Kendall Roy would say, you got a song to sing?
One of the few lines that we could repeat from the series finale there. Otherwise, we'd be leading into a punch on. But no,
the Crows are controlling the narrative.
Yeah, the Crows are doing all right.
So we've proffered a theory anyway, where it essentially dude out, you get Ballarat Bulldogs. Dude in, you're beating Brisbane Lions. Accurate?
Oh, I'd be lying if I said it hadn't crossed me mind. And I mean, I don't want to go too deep into where my brain went with that. But no, it was a. We'll put it down to away Ballarat versus home against.
Okay.
So that's probably the bigger factor. Nothing to do with Tex or Riley Thilthorpe being out either. It's just But no, it was no. We had a good win. The Ballarat game, we were very, very disappointed in the way that we reviewed the game. Showed that the way that we trained going into the Brisbane game showed that, because we were out for redemption in a sense to show that wasn't us. And I feel like we did that against a really, really quality team in not so great conditions.
You've said, and one of the consistent themes when you've come in to speak to us about where the team's at through this rebuild process has been the transition from going from hoping to win to expecting to win.
Yep.
The ceiling of the level of footy you guys are capable of playing now, has it ever been higher in the time that you've been in the side full time? Because I know you're on the list in 2017 and so forth, but since you've been a regular fixture in the side, have you ever turned up thinking our best is any better than it is right now?
No, I don't think so. No, we feel like in 16-17 when we were winning, when I was playing in Sandford, there was that confidence. It wasn't arrogance, but it bordered on that line between confidence and arrogance, where every game we went in going, our best can beat anyone's best. And we're not quite where we want to be in terms of four-quarter performances, playing our game plan and performing individually yet, but I feel like we're definitely on the path, and compared to where we were the last 4 or 5 years, it's definitely the best footy that I've seen us play.
I know we never want to get ahead of ourselves, but do the players talk about finals?
No, literally don't.
You don't, yeah.
No,
yeah.
so that's not a media response. That's just, and not in a sanctum, sort of like trying to keep it private. We actually haven't brought that up. It's sort of, I think it's been instilled from the top down with Nixie and the leaders. We look at it from the point of view of what do we get out of talking about that? We don't really get any benefit. It's something that's your goal. You want to play finals, you want to win premierships. That's what everyone wants to do. But it's not something that if we look at it and we go, hey, if we win this, maybe we have a loss there, then you just don't get any benefit. So as a playing group,
the ladder predictor.
that'd be time well spent. But no, we've got a very young group, but in that sense, very mature in terms of.
I actually did that yesterday, though, and you're going to come 7th.
Thanks. Yeah, that means it's going to happen. Yeah.
The crystal ball, the oracle.
I took a screenshot of it to see if it comes true. Anyway. Send it to you later.
Thanks, Bemba.
You've re-established that sort of sense that I think that other sides now around the league would go, we've got to go to Adelaide Oval to play the Crows. That's going to suck. That's not going to be a fun game for anyone now. No one's looking forward to that, which is a huge milestone. How do you translate that home form now to going on the road? And going on the road with now it was clearly a big test against the Sun side that beat the Bulldogs not a week ago.
Yeah, well, that's 2 home games in a row where I've had someone from the opposition come up and say to me, you guys are tough to beat here, and we haven't heard that for a while, and that AO used to be our sort of, not fortress, but something that you wanted to protect, and now we feel like we're back in that realm. But yeah, that's been our sort of thing this year, is when we've travelled away. I know we beat Hawthorn, but we didn't play a great brand of footy against Hawthorn, and then we didn't show up against the Doggies. We played well against Geelong, but not for 4 quarters, and Gold Coast are starting to find some form, and up there they're going to be tough because they've played in those conditions before. As much as we had wet weather footy, there's a difference between what Darwin will offer, and we know it's going to be a challenge in that regard.
They're leading a charmed life, aren't they? Like, how does this draw work? So the Crows get to play the Bulldogs in Ballarat, Hawthorn in Antarctica, and the Gold Coast Suns have basically spent, it will be almost 3 full weeks in Darwin.
Yeah, it's pretty handy.
Up in the sun, eating Hokkien mee at the local markets and mango smoothies. Just
to go back
like
to your
a holiday.
Point, imagine a game in Antarctica. Imagine playing on genuine ice caps like that.
That would be any danger you'd get a long sleeve for that one, do you think?
I did speak to the manager about that the other day. Not the manager, the club, the trainer, and I just thought, mate, it's got to happen. Oh yeah,
have they got a ground?
I'll get it sorted.
Is there a ground down there somewhere?
No.
Gillard back one, provided Antarctica paid for it.
I'm sure there's a local residents
Imagine
group
there was an AFL,
oppose it.
Just a random AFL bet.
Yeah, there's a group called People of Antarctica against football grounds.
But no, you got to play the hand you dealt, to use a cliche, and unfortunately that was how the fixture come out, and we just got to go up there and win, pretty much.
But that's a good factor for the Suns, isn't it? Because they'll be relaxed and in the zone, comfortable.
Yeah, but in the end, you just got to show up on the day. You got to play.
Have you played Darwin games before?
I actually don't think I've played Darwin. I've played Alice Springs. The infamous game against Melbourne where Pikey gave us the stare down because we decided not to show up for a full 25-minute quarter. First quarter was we just didn't rock up. That was a fun day.
Did you reacquaint with Charlie Cameron? You'd suggested he liked to chat a little bit during the game. Did you cross paths?
Yeah, so I sort of had two little errors in the first 2 quarters that led to his first 2 goals, so I couldn't really talk too much smack. And then at quarter time, he was walking off saying, "That's the best they've got, that's the best they've got." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Doggy's game last week." I'm like, "You're taking 1 game." I'm like, just wait. And then like at the end of the game, I went up to him and he didn't give a whole lot back. When I mentioned was that the best we got, but to be fair, he did play all right. But I thought Maxi did really well on him, and if it wasn't for my 2 little stuff-ups, he probably keeps him to 2 goals and minimal touches. But, he wasn't his usual chirpy self, which was good. Means a good thing for us.
You a sweet tooth, Tom? Have you ever had ponchki, Polish donuts?
I don't know if I've heard ponchki.
We've got some here. You can have some.
Oh,
well, being an elite athlete...
I am a sweet tooth. You
are?
Yeah, there's no lie there.
What's your poison? What are you...
Chocolate. Chocolate's just...
Really?
Yeah.
What type?
To be honest, anything. Cadbury's just got so much variety.
Dark or milk?
One. Nah, milk. Yeah.
Yeah, milk.
But I did have Old Gold Dark Mint the other day, and that was because I'm a big mint fan, and I didn't know if that combo would go well together, and it hit. It was good.
Are you a 3 meals a day guy? We've been talking about how many meals people have a day today. Are you 3, breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
3 without question, and then if I'm feeling it, sometimes 4.
And being an elite athlete, you're probably like not having lamb's fry and bacon for breakfast, or black puddings. Like
definitely not.
Be on the Wheat Bix.
No one would be it. I have Wheat Bix every morning. Wheat Bix muesli, yogurt, fruit, and then lunch is your usual, typical like salad sandwich or something, and then dinner's usually something good as well.
What's your blowout food? What's the first thing you have at the end of the season?
I really stay away from like any sort of takeaway in terms of like not just Macca's, KFC and stuff, but fish and chips, all that sort of stuff. And so when it gets to the end of the season, it's usually some form of drive-through and then just guilt-free eating, which is
how long does that last
feeling. For? About 3 days.
Yeah, okay. Just a 3-day
Well,
binge.
because you do a 3-day bender on top of it, so you're not just eating bad food, you're drinking as well. And then you get to like Wednesday and you're like, this is not healthy. Like, I need to get back to it. You're like, I don't know how people do it all the time. Like, it's foreign to us.
Well, enjoy Darwin.
Thank you.
Avoid stare downs.
Yeah, we'll do. Also, go see the new Spider-Verse movie when you get a chance. Saw it last night at premiere. Got to go in. I was a little bit VIP, felt a bit confident about myself. But no, we got in there, and it's an absolute cracker. If you love the first, you'll love the second.
Really? Excellent. You a star rating go?
Yeah, it was. I'd give it about. Yeah, it's about a 4.
4.
You know, Lucy Go Fight Club. Lucy Go Fight Club 2 out of 5.
2.
Yeah.
Fight Club's in my top 10, Luce.
Yeah. Ours too, but it's not really. Lucy's not the target audience of Fight Club.
That's true.
I don't think.
First rule of Fight Club, Luce. you broke it already.
All the best for the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Tom Dudo, thanks to Leader Computers, Australia's largest Australian-owned PC manufacturer, based right here in Adelaide.
APIA is giving you the chance to win a $40,000 energy savings bundle. That's up to $40,000 worth of solar panels, rechargeable batteries and more to help you enjoy a more affordable and sustainable future. Purchase an eligible new APIA comprehensive car or home insurance policy to enter. That's APIA value. APIA is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Read the PDS before buying insurance. TMD also available. Call for a copy. Competition ends 25th of the 8th of 23. Eligibility criteria and full T&Cs at apia.com.au. Permits SA T23/489.
Build a roof over your decking, a roof over your car. Alpha Industries are the best by far. A roof over your Barbie, a roof over your beers. Alpha Industries last for donkey's years. A roof over your swimming pool, a roof over your boat. Alpha Industries, ask us for a quote. Build a roof over your grandma or anything you please. Verandas, sheds and carports. Alpha Industries.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A morning shower or two, a high of 19. With the 8:30 news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Terrain Tamer Parabolic Leaf Springs for a comfortable ride in your four-wheel drive. terraintamer.com.
Economists are divided over whether the Reserve Bank will raise interest rates next week following higher than expected inflation numbers. Here's Michael Packy.
Some analysts believe inflation is not moderating quickly enough after prices rose 6.8% for the year to April. They believe the result could force another interest rate hike as early as next week. But Commonwealth Bank boss Matt Comyn says the RBA won't touch rates, at least for now.
On balance, we think they'll be on hold. There's probably one more rate hike.
Dr Angela Jackson from Impact Economics believes inflation is coming down, arguing the latest numbers are mainly a result of petrol prices, which increased because the fuel excise returned to its regular rate after being halved.
So the full impact of that came through this month.
The RBA will also examine tomorrow's wage verdict when considering its next rate move.
It was a big Wednesday night in Adelaide with over 48,000 fans descending on Adelaide Oval for the State of Origin series opener. That included more than 13,000 out-of-state visitors, boosting our hotel capacity to 92%. Tourism Minister Zoe Bettison says data indicates it was our third best night of all time.
It's been an amazing year for tourism in South Australia, but what it actually does is benefit those pubs, the bars and the restaurants. The streets of Adelaide were pumping last night.
But there was some controversy. Fans weren't happy about the welcome to country. They were told serious conversations will take place before the end of the year and were asked to make the right call. New South Wales police are trying to piece together the moments leading up to the stabbing death of a young boy in Sydney's southwest. The 3-year-old's body was found at a unit in Riverwood. His 45-year-old father has been taken to hospital with critical injuries. Police are not searching for anyone else. While police have made a grim discovery in Melbourne's west while conducting a welfare check, a toddler was found in a Werribee house alone with his mother's body. It's believed the child may have been there for up to 2 days. The woman's death is not being treated as suspicious. Sweeping regulations are being considered by the federal government amid global concerns about the explosion in AI. Industry Minister Ed Husic will release 2 reports laying the groundwork to fast-track laws governing the use of the technology. Tech leaders are also urging governments and companies to mitigate the risks. Mr Husic says the issue is being taken seriously.
Whether or not the technology is getting ahead of itself, we've got a range of different laws at the moment that do have some sort of ability to deal with things, but I think given what we've seen over the last few months, we do need to do a refresh of those, reform those laws.
It's the first day of winter and according to crash data that can be a dangerous time on the roads. Melasha has details.
The RAA is urging South Australians to be extra careful behind the wheel this winter as data shows an alarming spike in crashes involving our most vulnerable road users during the mid-year months. The number of fatal and serious pedestrian crashes in Metro Adelaide spikes by 47% in winter compared to the rest of the year. Drivers face extra challenges as the hours of daylight reduce and wet and foggy conditions mean less visibility. Motorists are reminded the speed limit is the maximum speed permitted in ideal conditions, so reducing your speed in poor conditions could be the difference between arriving safely and being involved in a crash.
The landmark judgment in the Ben Roberts-Smith defamation case will be handed down today. The former soldier sued the Sydney Morning Herald, The Age and the Canberra Times for articles which detailed allegations of war crimes in Afghanistan committed by Australian Special Forces. The verdict will bring an end to nearly 5 years of legal action. In the US, NASA and other government agencies have held their first public meeting on UFOs. Chair of NASA's Unidentified Anonymous Phenomena Study team, David Spergel, says they're still looking for life beyond Earth.
We haven't found life beyond Earth yet, right? I mean, let's be clear about this. We haven't found it yet. But we're looking, and we're looking for it in lots of different ways. You know, is NASA hiding anything about this? No. Answering this question is one of the things that NASA as an agency is excited about.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with footy, and Adelaide defender Tom Doedee has praised his team's response after an emphatic performance against Brisbane last week. He told David and Will it was an impressive response after the disappointment of the game the week before against the Bulldogs.
Reviewed the game, showed that. The way that we trained going into the Brisbane game showed that, because we were out for redemption in a sense to show that wasn't us, and I feel like we did that against a really, really quality team in not so great conditions.
The Crows will release their side tonight to take on Gold Coast, while the Power will do the same. That's ahead of their round 12 match against Hawthorn at home on Saturday. Well, New South Wales is facing the most daunting task in Origin after going down 26-18 in Game 1 here in Adelaide last night. The Blues will have to win at Lang Park in Brisbane to keep the series alive against Queensland. Coach Brad Fittler says nothing is impossible.
We've played together enough times to, when you've got enough good ball like that, to score more tries, and we mostly let ourselves down in that area, but that's the challenge ahead. Can't avoid it. It is what it is.
Let's go to tennis. Thanasi Kokkinakis says his 5-set victory over Stan Wawrinka at the French Open was one of his 2 best wins of his career, the other back in 2018 against Roger Federer. The South Aussie beat Wawrinka in 4 hours and 38 minutes. And Sevilla is the Europa League champions after beating Roma in penalties this morning. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Hillier, there's a 2-car smash to look out for, Anglevale Road near the North-South Motorway entry roundabout. Busy in a few spots, including Adam Street at Hindmarsh, also Springbank Road at Clapham. Got lane out of action this morning at Hilton, Sir Donald Rabbit Drive near Pearson Street. Speeds are down to 25 at the moment, with cameras Fraser Avenue, Happy Valley, and Harris Road at Vale Park. More great specials at Foodland. Australian Hass avocados 95 cents each. Yes, just 95 cents each. Hurry, ends tomorrow at Foodland. A mighty South Aussies. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A morning shower or two, a high of 19. Tomorrow, a shower or two, 21. Partly cloudy Saturday, also 21. And showers are back on Sunday, 21. At the moment, 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Every week, all sorts of people do all sorts of things for Meals on Wheels.
I help out in the office, admin stuff.
Yeah, my wife and I drive and deliver food, and I help organise the orders.
I organise lunch and coffee catch-ups for customers.
If you've got a bit of time on your hands, we could do with you.
I was new in town, and it gave me a chance to meet people and do something worthwhile.
So what can you do? Go to mealsonwheelsa.org.au. Meals on Wheels. Great food, great people.
For most business PC brands, a 4-hour service guarantee means they'll call you back in 4 hours. But at Leader Computers, a 4-hour service guarantee on Leader's business range means they'll come to your worksite and have you back in business inside 4 hours.
Now, we've been into Leader Computers, met the team. They're made here in Adelaide with better service, better support and speedy turnaround times. Grow your business and get behind a Leader. Find your local dealer at leadersystems.com.au.
When you buy a Leader computer, you're buying a computer made in Adelaide. You're dealing with people that live in Adelaide. And when it comes to servicing or support, it all happens in Adelaide, not overseas, not interstate.
Leader Computers don't have to send anything off for repair. They take care of everything here. leadercomputers.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
21 minutes to 9. Behind closed doors, not too far away. Getting a lot of texts on the Dutton's text line. The all-new Volkswagen Amarok available right now to test drive at Dutton's Adelaide Hills. But first, Matty in Manapara's called in. Matty, you're at the State of Origin last night.
Yeah, I managed to get some tickets and took a mate with me. It was I don't have skin in the game. I mean, I nominally go for New South Wales because my dad was born there and stuff. But it was, my mate said to me, and he is more of a die-hard Blues fan. And while it was a disappointing night for him, as he said, it felt like an event. So for us, well, obviously, me as being a Port man, is that when we go there at night games, we get a little bit of flashing lights, but I didn't realise how well those Adelaide Louvre lights can do. They can do some fantastic stuff. I want to know why they don't do it for our games.
The start of it, where it was all swirling around with the blue and the red, looked absolutely sensational, didn't it?
Yeah, and like they had the big giant flame jets, and every time one of those would go off, we would feel the heat wash over us. And I mean, I sit behind the goals, but they're in Port games, but we were sitting in the members section, which was, I think, a bit unusual bit of a treat for me. I didn't realise how well the members get to eat with the food stands behind.
Yeah, it's pretty flash.
It was just, it was fascinating. We got there early enough. I even managed to get some pictures with King Wally Lewis on the boundary line, and they're just such a nice bloke. Oh, it was was a fantastic day, even though he did make comment that my mate was decked out in blues gear, which was a lot of fun. But even the Living End played, and they played a set of 3 songs, and they were fantastic, and it was just a really enjoyable night. And the chance of either Queenslander or New South Wales and having 48,000, I'm glad Adelaide turned up. It was, after all the whinging and sooking the people in the eastern states been making about us having the game, I think we did it justice.
It's a great review, Matty. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. It's interesting.
Jimmy from Top Gun made the
something
same point.
we could learn from. Yeah, on the text line.
Yeah, about how good the atmosphere was. Brett also texted in saying I used to follow both codes simultaneously until the AFL VFL pillaged local footy and Sturt self-imploded over Merv Keane. I'm now a total NRL devotee. Went to the 2016 grand final. It was a better feeling than 76. Sorry, Pembo. Last night was brilliant. Go the Sharks. Thanks, Brett. And another one here, just from Deb, saying, thank you, 5AA, for the tickets I won for State of Origin. It was a fantastic night. Great game, and Adelaide Oval looked spectacular. Matty's point's a good one. Why don't we do that for Crows games?
Have more of an imaginative light show beforehand. Well, I wonder if it's the design and control of that. Would it be with the clubs? Because obviously,
yeah, maybe.
So maybe the clubs aren't necessarily across what the ground is capable of. Could that be it? But you're right. We should be. It's a world-class stadium. It's clearly capable of world-class pre-match entertainment.
Totally.
Maybe we should be a bit more imaginative with what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love to hear other people's thoughts. 8223 You can text us on the Dutton's text line as well. Here's a peculiar musical collaboration. You're the music man, Dave. We'll get your review of this. Madonna and Sam Smith.
Yeah, let's play Job Seeker again.
Yeah, I think I prefer Job Seeker over that. No offence to Madonna, who's had a terrific career.
Lucy deserves some sort of an award for bleeping out all the cuss words in Job Seeker.
Yeah,
about 48 profanities.
If you are a fan of the Madonna Sam Smith crossover, it comes out June 9th. Just been announced a little bit earlier.
Madonna hasn't done anything good since True Blue, I don't think. That was the one with Live to Tell on it, wasn't it? Oh, no, Like a Prayer's an amazing record. That's a great record, but it's all been pretty ho-hum after that. She did that Hung Up song, but that was... ABBA should have got 99% of the money she got from that, because it's... Time goes by. That's all she did. She just went, time goes by.
Here's one that'll
slowly
annoy you, David, on the Dutton's text line.
That's what she did.
Last night's Origin game is just further proof of how good a night AFL grand final could be.
No.
The look of the pre-match stuff is better at night.
Yeah, but there's a certain sort of rhythm to the afternoon grand final, and a lot of it involves. It shouldn't matter for the people who are there. It should matter for the people who aren't there. So it's like, what time do you like the barbie? What time do you have your first beer? All those sorts of major life questions that you need to think through. And also, football is, and this is why I thought Peter Dutton pulled the right rein when he was talking about the gambling crackdown. The form of words he used, I think, resonated when he said, sport is family time.
Completely.
So you're not taking your 6-year-old to the grand final, or even necessarily staying up to watch it. If it starts at 8:10 or something like that. Would you change it? You'd change it, wouldn't you?
I'm not as wedded to it as I once was.
It's off the table, isn't it?
I think it's a null and void issue. I don't think it's alive at all. The only discussion would be whether they want to move it to that sort of twilight time of day.
See,
that they seem to knock around with, but I'd rather keep.
I know this jars with the fact that there's so much money riding on it, but the last consideration for football should be, what did the TV stations want out of it?
Yeah,
I mean, the TV stations. They wanted 2 teams in Sydney, so they can have a home game every week to keep Jerry Harvey happy, because he likes having, ads on free-to-air TV in the city market every week. That's the key reason GWS exist, as evidenced by the fact that there's nobody there watching them.
Yeah, but when the players and the coaches and the executives sit down and work out the collective bargaining agreement, and they go, what percentage of the total pie we get, you know what they don't do? Say no to the pie getting bigger.
Yeah, good point.
Let's go and have a look at a great South Australian business, which is what we're doing in the build-up to Best of SA, taking place 16th of June at Adelaide Oval. Today we're celebrating WEA.
Hi, Jane Riley here, and here at 5AA, we are celebrating the Best of SA. Today I'm catching up with Leslie Venning, who is the CEO at the WEA. Leslie, a big year for your organisation in 2023.
That's right, we're 110 years this year. The WEA was founded in 1913 and runs courses in all sorts of areas like food and wine, language, investment, writing, fitness, archaeology, heritage walks and more.
It's a fantastic environment to learn in. It's warm and friendly, and you shouldn't feel nervous about coming in and doing any sort of course.
That's correct. People come for a variety of reasons. Our courses don't have prerequisites. People come for fun, they come to learn a skill for work, or they bring a friend to have a night out just to learn something new.
And you can become a tutor at WEA, because I make sourdough. Have you got a job for me?
We actually have a sourdough tutor, but we're always looking for more tutors, people who have a skill and want to share it with the community.
Your new course guide is about to come out this week on June the 8th. It's in a brand new format this year.
That's right. Our June guide is a digital format with all the exciting courses from June till September.
If people want to know more, how do they go about discovering what's happening at the WEA?
Our website is wea-sa.com.au.
Leslie, thank you so much for being part of the Best of SA on 5AA, and happy 110th birthday. You don't look that old.
I've aged quite well. Thank you very much, Jane.
For your chance to win $100 towards your next WEA course and tickets to the Best of SA dinner, Friday the 16th of June at Adelaide Oval, give us a call right now. From beeswax to business, find your WEA with over 100 short courses at WEA. 8223 0000 is the number.
I love the WEA courses. I did a Mexican cooking class there years ago.
They're
It was
great.
terrific fun.
All right, time to check traffic. Car under the weather, take it to an independent RAA-approved repairer before you hit the road. T's and C's apply.
As our road toll continues to climb and police...
Thanks, Will. Got a two-car crash to look out for at Hillier this morning. That's at Anglevale Road near the North-South Motorway entry roundabout. Few delays as you're coming onto the North-South Motorway there. Busy Adam Street at Hindmarsh, also Springbank Road at Clapham, pretty sluggish. And we've got works to keep in mind today at Eastwood Lane, close there too. Glen Osmond Road near Fullerton Road, speeds at 40. Cameras, no days off for them. Dyson Road, Christie's Beach and Gage Street at Firle. Enjoy no join fees and memberships from only $7.89 per week at Zap Fitness. Limited time only. Visit zapfitness.com.au. T's and C's apply. Available on select memberships. Adelaide's most accurate traffic count, 5AA.
As our road toll continues to climb and police launch a road safety campaign targeting motorcyclists, a call from an MP for motorists in metro and country to drive with their headlights on all the time, day and night. Love to get your thoughts on that. Also, Dean Parkins from the Yes campaign for the Voice referendum will be joining me in the studio. I'm Matthew Pantelis, 5AA Mornings. Look forward to your company from 9.
Southgate GWM is overstocked and all vehicles must be cleared. All models, all colours, price to clear. Make an offer. Don't buy anything until you speak to Southgate GWM. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Southgate GWM. LVD 152780.
Loving grandmother Joan should have been enjoying the fruits of a life of hard work. Instead, at 70, she was on the streets, penniless and heartbroken. Right now in Australia, older women are experiencing homelessness at alarming rates. Our mothers, grandmothers, aunts and sisters need your help. Donate to the Vinnie's Winter Appeal at vinnies.org.au or call 131812 and give immediate and long-term support to vulnerable older women like Joan.
It's tax time at Bunnings Trade. Get in for amazing tax time deals on hard yakka workwear. Grab a pair of Legends work boots for only $160 or pick up a hard yakka hoodie for just $45. Get more tax time deals at Bunnings Trade.
Did you know home care packages are available to residents aged 65 plus in Adelaide? Genu are experts with over 30 years experience, partnering with local providers, helping you get the best value from your home care package and enabling you to maintain independence in your own home. To find out more about Genu's home care packages today or how to transfer your existing package, call 1300 558 368 or visit genu.org.au. Genu, supporting you your way.
Is your internet connection holding your business back?
Supercharge your potential with Business NBN, with options to access the fastest speeds on the NBN network and new 24/7 business-grade support from a range of providers. Find a Business NBN provider today and supercharge your business. Not all offerings available from all providers. Experiences may vary due to provider, plan, equipment and technology.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Emoda 5. State-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
8 to 9 behind closed doors in just a moment. We chatted with Pete McDonald from Samry about this time a year ago when he launched the Samry Bright Walk, walking 21 Ks around the cheese grater. This year, though, he's aiming to do something greater. In fact, break a world record for what is a fantastic cause. Pete, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Good, mate. Just take us through this. So 21 Ks obviously was too easy. And now you've decided just to up the ante.
Well, I tried to get up to the roof last year, but our highly diligent safety people had a few issues with that. So 12 months later, we've checked a lot of boxes. We've got a lot of harness and safety gear, and we've done risk assessments and all that sort of thing, and they've allowed me up here. So it's a spectacular morning. We've got the hills, white fog, nothing you'd call a pea super, but just a little hazy. round to the.
Are you there, Pete? I think we might have lost Pete. I'm sure that's.
I've got you there, David.
Ah, good. Yeah. I thought you'd gone full May Thorn and abseiled over the over the side, Pete. So, do you know how high up it is in metres?
Oh, geez, you're testing me now. I reckon we'd be around about.
We're never going to know the answer to that question.
I think something about the attitude is Pete's phone dropping out. He's doing it as we speak. You can see some vision on the Foodland Supermarket Facebook and YouTube live stream. The aim is to do 75 laps. It's 15 Ks of the roof of the building. So 15 Ks, 10 stories up. Have we got you there? But if you stop, we don't want to be the reason you don't get the world record.
Of all the spots that you wouldn't expect phone interruptions, I'm just standing. So who knows? But no, I'm not sure about the distance, David. Crowds and distances are not my thing.
So you started at 7 o'clock this morning, Pete. How long is it going to take you to do this?
Oh, it was a very slow start. I did about 8 laps in the first hour as I was faffing about and getting used to things, but I've picked up the pace a little. I'm halfway through my 30th lap, so I probably reckon I've got another 2 hours or so to go. They tell me it's downhill the rest of the way, so that should be good.
And are there rails, like when you talked about the Oc Health and Safety people, like, you know, it's not like a totally flat roof. Like you've got guardrails and stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, there's like a maintenance access track all around the edge of the roof, and that's got a safety rail that I'm harnessed to. So I couldn't get into trouble if I tried.
Could people see you from the ground?
Yeah, you'd have to be a little distance away, but and don't tell the safety people that I might lean over the roof and wave to a few people.
Yeah,
good idea. But if you're walking along the river or on North Terrace, you can certainly wave to me.
And this is, of course, all to raise money for the wonderful medical research that's done there at Samry. You're trying to get about $1 million.
Absolutely. You got me there again, Will?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So last year we had more than 1,600 people turn out for the Samry Bright Walk. Walking around the city, we raised nearly $500,000. We're aiming even higher this year. We want at least 2,500 people. We're going into the heart of the Illuminate Adelaide Festival this year through North Terrace, Rundle Street, Victoria Square, out to North Adelaide. There'll be all of those fantastic light installations, some bespoke installations just for our walkers. Going through the wine centre, coming past Samry where our resident band, the Minestrone of Sound, is going to be playing. So there's lots of activities to keep people interested, and we want people not just to raise money, but just to show their support for South Australia's only independent medical research joint.
Aiming high, both literally and figuratively. Pete,
absolutely.
Good luck. All the best for the rest of the walk.
Thank you very much for your time, gentlemen.
Pete McDonald on the roof of the Samry building as we speak, doing a 75 laps, a 15K walk around.
Great cause.
Your nightmare being at that altitude.
Oh, I hate it. Oh, no. Well, no, wouldn't do it.
Can't even speak about it.
Can I make a donation?
Shouldn't have brought it up. All right, let's go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Andrew Brymer.
And welcome back to the program. Andrew Reimer with you on Interactive 1395, Adelaide's 5AA. You can call or text or email about anything at all that's on your mind. That's what we're here for, and that's what we do as well. A text from AJ. Hi Andrew, you're magnificent. I love what you do for all of us in the 5AA family. Thank you very much for the text. AJ, I appreciate it, I really do. Don't forget you can ring me and be interactive on the Interactive AM telephone on 822 and comment on anything, especially on this sad and sorry world that we're turning into, where the woke left are changing the rules to suit their own narrative. So call me up and let's have some fun. Here's another text. Hello Andrew, it's good to hear you with your balanced attitudes. Thank you for your show. Thank you very much for that text. I really appreciate it. I really do. Jill says, hi, Andrew. An upmarket call girl regularly goes to the Cannes Film Festival in France and charges £1,000 an hour. Gosh, that's a lot, isn't it, for a... and there's a discount for 2 hours or more. Oh, that's good that she's offering a discount, so that's... £2,000, 2 hours. There's a bit of business acumen going on there, and the rate for the whole night is £5,000. Gosh, I think I'd be shopping around a bit, because you could probably get a better price if you did that. It's a bit like electricity bills. But in reality, she says, people only usually take a few minutes. Yep, that's a good point. That's true, isn't it? Thank you, Jill, for that text. So do text me about anything at all that's on your mind, because I rarely pre-read them before they go to air.
Watch on this Thursday morning. Download the free My RAA app to find the cheapest fuel in an instant. The United Bennington Torrens Road, $1.55.5. The OTR St Mary South Road, $1.65.5. The OTR Blair Athol Main North Road is $1.65.5. It's a common price this morning, because so too is the OTR Paraka Bridge Road. That's $1.65.5. The cheapest diesel, OTR Linden Park Greenhill Road at $1.73.9.
Speaking of Blakey, Frank Pangallo texted me at 7:40 this morning about the background of the vote the other night, and his final line was, I'm waiting for Blakey to have a go. Well, he didn't have to wait long.
Didn't have to wait long at all.
7:55.
He knows how Blakey works. Stick around for Matt Pantelis. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
Tip Top bakes every day with Australian wheat. So whether it's raisin toast outside Rockhampton, English muffins near Mullumbimby, or sandwiches in Cabramatta, Tip Top is baked into Australia.
Hear what resident Bruce has to say